on.
You're listening to the SportsVisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer.
Good Wednesday morning and welcome everybody to another edition of the SportsVisions Morning Show. I am your boy, Walter and Betty Jones's baby boy, Daryl DJ Jones, Coach Bush's grandson. Thrift Behringer is to my right. How are you this morning, sir?
In the building, ready to rock and roll, DJ. Got a great show.
Good deal, good deal. And flying this plane this morning, Richard Holdridge. How are you, sir?
What is up, everybody? I am glad to be back in the studio with you guys.
Absolutely. Hey, for you folks out there in Facebook land, we want to just say hello and good morning. It's Wednesday. Of course, it's way back Wednesday, and it's hump day. Believe it or not, Thrift. Hump day already.
Hump day comes by so fast. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. Hey, man, listen, we want to welcome, of course, we got the new Pacelli coach on deck, and, man, I tell you what, I was impressed yesterday at the press conference. We'll have an opportunity to chop it up, Thrift. I know that you have, you have some good feelings about him. Richard, you as well, and you know what? I mean, it looks like another successful chapter that we are off to with the Pacelli Vikings football team.
Yeah, I think this guy's going to be a difference maker, man. I wanted to get his background, and we did, and we'll get more in depth here in today's interview. But he was successful everywhere he's been, so that's all I needed to hear, and I think he'll do a great job at Pacelli.
Absolutely, and we'll talk more about that. But let me just say hello to everybody out there in Facebook land. We appreciate you being here with us this morning. We appreciate being here for you, of course, because we're here to educate, of course, inform, and entertain you on the goings-on in the world of sports. And like always, I say the same thing all the time. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that the SportsVisions Morning Show is on the air now. Don't keep it to yourself.
No.
Share it, please, please. And for all of our wonderful friends out there in WLTC, HD2, SportsVisions, 92.1 FM land, we love you. And it ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
Hello, somebody.
Gentlemen, let's start this party. Man, let's tell you what, Wednesday. Where has the time gone? I mean, I know that we had some great basketball, and we have a couple of champions that we're celebrating. But again, we're at midweek, guys. I mean, really, I have to pinch myself because, again, it is unbelievable how time is flying by.
Yeah, it goes by so fast that we're already at hump day right now, DJ. It's like it felt like I just got done calling state championship games over the weekend.
Yep.
We're almost at the weekend again.
And that's just it. You guys had so much going on and you got so much on your plate that, the days start running together. And then before you know it, the morning show is, is right here in your face. And, but again, just great to be able to wake up every day to love what you're doing and do what you love. It's no way around it. I just had to say that this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly right, DJ. And I don't complain. And I will say I want to go with a quick shout out to three people last night because we had, and this happens in Georgia, Alabama sports side, we have 5 events we were trying to do, 3 soccer games and 2 baseball games because it seems like everybody plays on the same 2 days, Tuesdays and Thursdays during the springtime, and we want to make sure we get everyone. And unfortunately, you assign things and it doesn't go according to plan. Multiple people back out, and you got to have MVPs like Richard Holdridge, Riley Bamberg, and Chris Gates, who all stepped up big to allow us to even do these 5 games. Richard did 2 events himself at Brookstone and then set up someone to do the soccer game. So I'm so thankful for my team because yesterday I was putting out fire after fire after fire after fire. But when you have guys that are loyal and do what they're asked, it always makes out and works. So I want to say thank you to my team for allowing us to do that.
I love it. I love it. You're growing up right in front of our faces. You're handling, situations. You're making decisions on the run. And again, you know what? In adverse times, people find out who you are all about, what you're all about when in adverse situations. Again, you don't want things to fail, but things don't always go right. But that's where you catch. That's what they say. A L is not an L. A L is a learning experience.
And I'll tell you this too, DJ. Everyone says they want to be the boss until they got to get your boots in the ground and get in the trenches, DJ.
Right.
And then it's like, all right, well, if you're not going to actually do for me, I don't really value or give a crap about your opinion. But everyone's got an opinion. Everybody wants to give an opinion. But here's the thing. If you're not boots on the ground, and that's my value, because you see, I'm always working. I'm always at different places. You're just a talking head. You're just running your mouth. I need someone that actually wants to go and do the things, not leave me hanging. So I appreciate my guys.
Well, tell them how you really feel, Thrift. Absolutely. Hey, man, but you know what? Let's go ahead and let everybody know. We've got a great show lined up. Of course, Richard is flying this plane today for a little while anyway. But you know what? At 7 o'clock, we're going to talk to a guy who is a veteran in the business. He's actually going to be boots on the ground, not this morning, but a little bit later. He's going to be actually making the first call on Georgia Public television. He's going to be calling the Hardaway Murray County game. And that's Sam Crenshaw, good friend of ours here, great contributor to the SportsVisions morning show. He's always there for us. You know, he's the guy that operates out of Atlanta primarily, but he's done everything and anything that you could imagine in this business, from broadcasting, radio, television anchor, to just calling games, man. And as he will be with Georgia Public Broadcasting. And again, I'm just looking forward to actually watching the game. I know it's going to come up at 1 o'clock today. So we'll be talking to Sam before he actually leaves Atlanta for Macon, and we'll get an opportunity to kind of build up and get a little insight on what the process is from that network standpoint. And again, you got Georgia, Alabama Sports Live, you got Georgia Public Broadcasting, and you got a whole lot of others. But we'll get a basic fundamental idea of the game plan from Sam as we see it, of course, at 7 o'clock. At 7:30, hopefully we'll have an opportunity to send off Kelly Ellerson. I know that I had a late request. However, I know that if she has it on her plate, if she can do it, she'll come on board, and we'll give her a send-off in so many words, because we were talking yesterday about the opportunity for the school to do something. And, but you just want to, in a celebratory way, especially when you're the last team standing in the city, this is an opportunity for the whole town, the whole region, to get behind the Hardaway Hawks. Big game today at 1 o'clock. And we want to make sure that, actually, I keep saying today.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Yes.
I don't know why I want this game to be so,
I'm ready for it too, though, DJ.
I said it yesterday. I remember saying it was Wednesday. I said because I didn't think we could get Kelly because they would be on the road. But the game is Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, at 1 o'clock. And for those who are going down to Macon to the Centralplex, it'll be a 1 o'clock tip. And for those who want to watch it and can't make it down, it'll be on Georgia Public Broadcasting. And again, our good friend Sam Crenshaw will be on the call. I got a legend, Thrift, here at 8 o'clock. I think you know who he is. He's been around as a sports writer for a long, long time. He's written for a number of organizations here in town, including the Ledger Enquirer. Mark Clark. He is most recently known for his work at the Phoenix Citizen, but he is a member of the Chattahoochee Valley Board, of the Chattahoochee Sports Hall of Fame Board, and a number of other things. But I was just cracking up, just talking to him on the phone. He got so many stories. So we got to put a timer on him, man, because he just back to back to back to back. And he has been through some of the great eras of athletes and teams in Phoenix City. And of course, not just with the Central Red Devils, but he is a plethora of information on all of those folks. But wanted to get, for those who didn't, they probably heard the name, but never had the opportunity to hear Mark Clark like you will today. He'll be with us at 8 o'clock, and at 8:30, Thrift, the man himself, the new sheriff in town, Coach Smitty Grider. Again, he's been around, and he's worked with some very impressive programs. He's worked with some very impressive coaches. I love his attitude. And again, he just looks like a football coach.
Yeah, he does, man. This guy is very well spoken, and he's looking to bring in a new regime and taking over for a legend and Coach Dwight Jones. But to Mark Clark, I heard of him. Of course, I read his stuff, but I didn't put two and two together till we were at the Hall of Fame that you were hosting at Central a few years ago.
Right.
And Chris Blackshear made mention of Mark Clark being one of his best friends. So that name resonated. And then, of course, followed him on Facebook, see all his posts, and saw him at the Glenwood Central game. There was no doubt he was going to be there for an event like that. He's Mr. Phoenix City.
Yes.
I look forward to talking to Mark.
Absolutely. And he gave me a statistic that he, back when he was really, really rolling, he hadn't missed a Central game. And I don't know whether it was all sports or what in particular, but he went to over 300 consecutive ball games on the road, at home, anywhere Central was playing. And I can't wait for him to give us the details on that.
I can't either, man. This guy, when it comes to Phoenix City sports, Russell County, Smith Station, Glenwood Central, Mark Clark is your guy.
Absolutely. Richard, how you doing over there, buddy? I mean, you feeling pretty good? You think that we were able to fly pretty straight the other day? We didn't have any turbulence, but again, I can't say we didn't have any turbulence, because everybody, even on a perfect flight, you're gonna have a little bit. But you know what? Nothing to write back home about.
Oh, I'm pretty confident about the board, DJ. I mean, I did it in college. It's like riding a bike. I mean, I remember a lot of the stuff is changed a little bit. I mean, of course, we don't have the CDs anymore. We used to have the CD deck and used to put the CDs in there. But yeah, everything's automated now. Just looks familiar, and just enjoy just getting more familiarized with the board.
I do want to make a major announcement that congratulations to all of the coaches in the Bi-City area, the high school basketball coaches, that is, in that Bi-City area, and the athletic directors that made it possible. We got all of the names in for the most part, 99.9% of all the names and everything are in. So we're able to go to print. We're able to go to the, engraver and have all the names just nicely done for the kids for Thursday, March the 20th. And that will be the place for the 4th annual Sam Mark Foundation Bi-City Basketball Awards. And again, with all this great play, all of these championship teams, man, I'm looking forward to having an opportunity to honor all the great players, all the great coaches, all the great championship teams, to include, hopefully, Kelly Ellison and the Hardaway Hawks.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an awesome event. Glad that it's back after a year hiatus. Every coach, every player, DJ, we're talking about this event, and it's going to be an awesome time to shine a light on all the great seasons this year by all the local teams.
Absolutely. Guys, if you want to get engaged, of course, if you would like to be involved with some of the conversations that we're having today, don't think that this is our show, but this is your show. We share this platform. 706-324-1420 is the number to call. And maybe, again, I know that everybody's waiting on us to talk about Auburn, but you know what? We're gonna talk about that after we come back from the break. Unfortunately, things happen, but you know what? We're gonna wait and talk about it because I see a silver lining in that dark cloud. I do. I see a silver lining in that big loss, but at the same time, hey, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Look, Thrift, I do want you to go give us a rundown of the baseball or the schedule for Georgia Alabama Sports Live as we see it coming up this week, because I know you guys, you jumped out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah, it just a lot yesterday. So we did Pacelli Columbus soccer. We did Brookstone at Calvary soccer yesterday. And we did Harris County at Central Tarleton soccer. We did Lakeside at Brookstone baseball and Opelika at Glenwood baseball. Glenwood won against Opelika. Brookstone won in a pitcher's duel against Lakeside. Today we got some coaches shows. I'm doing a Columbus Lions like little pregame thing to kind of talk about the season. So looking forward to having Coach Daniels on. Richard will be live from Outskirts Bar and Grill. And then I'll be doing that virtually. And I'm also going to be at CSU cheering on the Cougars and Lady Cougars. I really want to see them win. Thursday, we got Heritage at Pacelli, Border Wars, which is being held at Glenwood. That's got teams like Calvary in it, Pacelli, Harris County, Russell County, and then schools outside the area from Georgia and Alabama. Coach Fanning's been hosting this for over 20 years now. Not as big as it used to be. A lot of the reason is because he wanted to use Synovus Park. They said it wasn't going to be ready this year, so he kind of consolidated it. And then next year, he's going to have close to 30 teams involved, and he's going to use the beautiful Synovus Park. So can't wait for that. But it will be Glenwood and Calvary at 4 p.m. on Thursday. We got some soccer. We got CVCC baseball and softball. And then we got Columbus and Shaw. So another busy weekend. On Sunday at 6 p.m., Columbus Lions. I won't be there, but Rick Beach will be on the call to bring in the Columbus Lions. And it's not a conference game. It's just a opener against Peach State, who they have dominated. And I want to give a quick shout out, DJ, to CVCC women's coach Joe Richardson, who will be talking with today. And I'm hoping he'll be able to make an appearance here on the SportsVisions morning show tomorrow. His team finished undefeated in conference play in the regular season. They won the conference tournament, and they are one win away from making it to basically like the Final Four that will be held in Missouri. But they're in Tallahassee, so they won the state. Now they go win the region of the Southeast. They win in Tallahassee. They're going to be able to go to Missouri. But congratulations to Coach Richardson and CVC Lady Pirates on winning the championship. Incredible year for them.
So this is basketball, right?
Yeah, this is basketball. Coach Richardson, Zy Thompson, MVP, getting looked at by Division I. Now, we will have CVC softball and baseball this week, but basketball, they're going to be playing at Tallahassee on Saturday, but another state championship for the first time in several years. Congratulations to the head women's basketball coach and his team, Joe Richardson.
You know, we may mention that Mark Clark is going to be here with us a little bit later in the show, but do you realize that Mark Clark actually had an opportunity to be at the first sporting event of CVCC? So again,
wow.
We know he could take us back. He could definitely give us some history lessons, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, this guy is definitely a historian. I can't wait to go back in the day and you remember when we had a Kelvin Red on to talk about the history of Central?
Yes, I love it.
That's Mark Clark. So
Absolutely.
we'll be able to get that for multiple schools.
I don't know about you, but I love talking to those guys that know the history of Phoenix City, Columbus, all the surrounding areas. I mean, it's a great deal.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, let's go ahead and take our first break of the day. You are watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2 SportsVisions 92.1. This is the SportsVisions Morning Show.
You're listening to the SportsVisions Morning Show. SportsVisions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. A Talbot County man, 52-year-old William Harvey, was arrested on felony arson charges after allegedly setting a wildfire on March 2nd. The fire, which destroyed 2 buildings, was contained, and Harvey was taken into custody without incident. He faces up to $50,000 in fines or 1 to 20 years in prison. A Chambers County woman was hospitalized for 5 days and received 23 stitches after being attacked by 3 dogs in Hughley last Friday. The dog's owner, Elizabeth Jackson, was arrested in a separate incident, and charges are expected in connection with the attack. The dogs have since been euthanized. The Columbus Convention and Trade Center held a public meeting to discuss a master plan focusing on parking, green space, and a hotel. Community members voiced their concerns and ideas, with next week's City Council meeting set to allow community feedback on the proposal. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
For the remainder of this afternoon, we are looking at breezy and gusty conditions and cooler, 64 degrees after that strong system swept through this morning. Tonight, we're going to drop down into the 30s, so chilly weather is returning from our system, and a high of 60 Thursday, but lots of sun. We're going to see some improvements for Friday with a high of 70 after waking up with chilly temperatures and tracking another storm system. Yes, coming up this weekend. You can trust the WRBL weather team. We're on your side with the latest weather updates.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander should hire trial attorneys. Paid active dramatization. Past results do not guarantee future results in each case. Me and Top Dog's walking through the airport. They're trying to speed the line up. So you know how they bring out the dogs to sniff people while they walk past? Well, that's what happened. But the dog must have known that Top Dog was a real dog too. Because when he sniffed him, he bit him. Want to know what Top Dog did? He started barking. Everybody was running over, screaming, "That's a real accident. You better call Top Dog. Top Dog Law." Top Dog still barking, letting everybody know he about to get top dollar. He letting everybody know. Seriously though, if you ever get into an accident, you want money, right? You want top dollar, right? You get into an accident, you call the dog. Top Dog Law.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
This hour of the SportsVisions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases. You're waking up with a SportsVisions morning show on SportsVisions 92.1. Now back to former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Behringer, and Richard Holdridge in the booth. Yeah. Fly this thing, Rich. Fly it, buddy. Fly it.
I mean, does this sound like you're flying right now with this? What is this? Airplane music, elevator music, Rich?
Hey, man, this is, you know what? I'm just glad that we are still above the ground. Hey, listen, man, again, we want to talk a little bit about the Auburn Tigers. You know what? They went out to College Station, played Texas A&M, ranked number 22. It's not like they were playing a bunch of bums. They were playing a very, very good team. Physically got their ass whipped, man. I'm going to tell you right now. Again, I got out rebounded on the offensive glass. You know, it's 24-7 or something of that nature. It was unbelievable to think that, you know, what we had going on with regards to the Auburn Tigers. But at the same time, this time of year, when you talk about, you know, being high on the cloud, 8 straight weeks of being ranked number 1 in the country.
Thank you, D.
You know, Bruce Pearl, I think he has a silver lining in that dark cloud because, you know what, it's getting ready for the SEC tournament, getting ready for the big March Madness. So he's got a mechanism, or he has a way, or he has a reason. He has bulletin board material for his own team. You know, he's gonna raise hell. They're gonna have some heated practices.
Yeah.
They're gonna have some deep discussions, and you know, I think it's a good time to get a loss if you want to say that.
I completely agree with you. A couple things. I was thinking on the ride over here, DJ, this morning. If you look at Auburn, and again, I'm talking about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would have said Auburn was going to lose at least 1 or 2 games. They had to play at Alabama, at Kentucky, at A&M. I mean, they had a really tough schedule at Vanderbilt. The fact they were 8-0 on the road in the toughest conference in the country heading into this game, it was bound to be a mix-up. You know, this is senior night. A&M came with their heads on fire. They were hitting shots that they're not accustomed to hitting. They had lost 4 straight games. They're more motivated than ever. Auburn already clinched. They beat Kentucky.
Yeah.
This was going to be a letdown game. And I saw it from the very beginning when it was 12-2. And it's like, I didn't get frustrated because, in my opinion, I thought this was going to happen a few weeks ago, maybe at Alabama. The fact that it didn't, and you beat your biggest rival, you win at Kentucky, Auburn's fine. Now, Janai Broome, these last couple games, getting manhandled like he did.
Yeah.
Out-rebounded against Kentucky, held to 9 points. Out-rebounded against A&M, pushed around. I don't know if he's battling something, but we need to see him have a good game against Alabama. That would worry me 3 straight games, DJ. But all in all, this season, this game doesn't define anything. And you're right. Would you rather this happen now or like it did 4 years ago either in the NCAA tournament or the SEC tournament? Get it out now, and now Bruce can get in their butts because they didn't win by 15. They lost by 15. Now you got to work on stuff.
Richard, when you got a guy like Broome, and obviously we knew about the ankle injury, he played through that for the most part over the last several weeks, but he had a shoulder injury. I found out later that he missed some time, and of course, in the game the other night because of his shoulder. So it's a good thing that obviously this is a great motivating factor. But for your best player, of course, the reigning college basketball player of the year, he's wounded. He's wounded, and he's got to, they got to do something. And but he can't take Saturday off because he got Alabama.
Yeah, he's got to deal with the injuries. Of course, Alabama's a big game. They've already clinched the SEC regular season. They just need to have a good showing in the SEC tournament, get healthy. Right now, the focus is to win a championship. And Janai Broome, I mean, he's a grown man. He's been playing college for 5 years. I mean, so he's got the mindset. He knows what it takes to win. I think that right now, this was a wake-up call for Bruce Pearl's team. by the way, any game on the road is tough in the SEC. I know that Texas A&M was struggling. They were at one point like projected a 2 seed or a 3 seed, but they have lost some games. I know that Texas A&M was playing desperate, but this game, it felt like it wasn't even competitive. But Auburn is going to lick their wounds, and they're going to focus on Alabama this weekend.
Man, I tell you, again, you can say what you want, but you don't want any. You hate for your team to actually end on a note like that. But again, I just think it's a godsend for.
You need that.
It's a wake up. It's a wake up for the entire program. It's a wake up for the entire fan base because you're riding high. 8 weeks, man, and you're on. I mean, everybody's walking around with the chest stuck out.
Right.
The best thing since sliced bread. And at the end of the day, I just think, and again, that now with all things equal, if in fact Broome is healthy. I know that everybody this time of year is beat up, but because Denver Jones is another big
he's out right now.
He's out, and so man, they've been missing him too.
Yeah, he's one. Bruce has said this all year. He's his best guard defender. Why did they lose last night? The guards from A&M were hitting shots that they're not used to hitting.
Yeah,
Denver Jones didn't play. It's just a bruised ankle. He got kicked in the ankle against Kentucky. Missed the second half. He'll be back fine. Again, I want Auburn more healthy than it is, hey, let's finish 29-2, because in the grand scheme of things, if they beat Alabama and finish 28-3, is it that big of a difference between finishing 28-3, 16-2, or 29-2, 17-1? You already clinched the SC championship game. Why bring people back? Why force people to play if it's going to mean that it's the long-term health of the team? Because who wants to win all these games in the regular season and be a one and done in the NCAA tournament?
Yes. But here's the other part of that. Now, again, you talk about it, you can say what you want. I understand that Texas A&M is a physical team, but obviously to push around the best team in America, I mean, the physicality of the game, and that doesn't sit too well with me. I mean, you can't get pushed around. It's one thing to, not necessarily push the brakes, but the effort. I mean, how can you allow somebody when you are the top team in America, has been, and you are pushed around and made look like nothing?
That's the part that I'm worried about too, because this back-to-back games they've been out rebounded. That's the one thing Auburn's strength was with Cardwell and Chaney Johnson. You can't tell me you don't have size. Your guys are more skilled and better than Henry Coleman III and anybody else that hard players. And A&M is a type of team that it is not pretty basketball. It's sometimes hard to watch. Every one of them foul at the same time where the referee can't blow the whistle because he'd have to call it on all of them because that's how physical they are. But that's how Buzz Williams teams play. And if you don't match them with their physicality, which Auburn's done a good job all year, or you don't hit shots, you're not going into A&M winning the game. So I hope that was a wake-up call. And then they got to take on Alabama, who takes on Florida tonight. So they got a big one too. I can't wait for Saturday.
Now, the flip side, flip that over. Texas A&M, what does it mean for them this time of year? Just like Auburn, obviously, we're saying, hey, you sometimes you're doing so well, you need to be shaken up, or you need to be shocked.
Yeah.
But for A&M, the Aggies, man, let me tell you something. You talking about going into that locker room and that coach having an opportunity to say, look, you see what we just did to the number one team in America? Who's to say that we can't do and win the whole thing?
Yeah. Exactly.
If that's the best team in America and we just manhandled them, that we should definitely know that, of course, if that was the best team, we got to be one of the best teams for us to do that. So again, that's, that reverse psychology, coaches always have, we call it coach speak, but they have a way to, motivate to get into your psychic of the players, especially after a brilliant performance over a team that's a top rated team. Matter of fact, the team was the number one team in the country.
That is unbelievable, man. Yeah. And it was a good win. Auburn will be fine. If they beat Alabama, I still think they stay number one in the poll. They're still going to be the number one overall seed. Auburn just needs to worry about getting healthy. And for A&M, a good win for them and their seniors like Wade Taylor and Henry Coleman. Them guys have been playing for like 25 years over at A&M. So
guys,
they're an old team just like Auburn.
Guys, let's, I know we're talking basketball, but I just want to talk about the King. He's gotten, 50,000 points he hit the other night? That's a lot of points.
It is, man. And no one's ever going to touch that because nobody's going to play for 27 years. I mean, this guy's going to be 50. I'm telling you, he's going to be 50 still playing basketball, man. There's something different about LeBron James. And this is what I'm saying. If you're Nico Harris, the buffoonery, I'm sorry I have to bring him up, but like, you not only traded Luka, but then you traded him to the one guy that's going to get him to an even higher level.
Right.
So you're going to look like more of an idiot when Luka's dominating here in the next 3 or 4 years and getting in shape, learning from LeBron. It blows my mind that happened, man.
Nico has to spend some time on his knees, man, because you guys, let's think about this. The Luka trade. Anthony Davis comes in and get hurt. Now Kyrie has blown out his knee and he's done.
Exactly.
This guy living right. I mean, wow. I mean, Nico, everybody's giving him hell, but this guy's probably, you got to probably rope off the elevators because he will jump off the highest building in Dallas right now. Because Kyrie Irving,
right after. And then you saw Kyrie crying. And I'm not trying to laugh at Kyrie, but he pulled a Kobe. And it's like, I laugh because it's what I would have done in that moment.
Yeah.
I would have thought about, because I idolized Kobe and his game as a player. Kobe tore his ACL and went to the free throw line, tore his ACL, got fouled, and still shot his 2 free throws because he thought, if you don't shoot those free throws, you can't come back in the game. He didn't know if he was going to be out. Kyrie did the same thing, and he was also crying at the line. But, that was a tribute to Kobe.
Yes.
But, again, that's bad luck, man.
Yep.
But you put your eggs in a Kyrie Irving-led basket, who has been injury-prone his career. We know about street clothes. He played a half a quarter to start with the Mavericks. And, Charles Barkley are having a field day right now.
Yeah.
Maybe next year, but this year Dallas is done, and it's going to make the trade look even worse because the Lakers are the number 2 seed, and look, every bit of team that's going to make it to the finals. So good job, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I hate that for Kyrie because he's probably one of the most skilled basketball players that I've ever seen. I didn't say the best. I didn't say the greatest, most skilled, because this guy it's not anything he can't do with that basketball. And again, for a guy to be, he's about 6'2", 6'1"?
Yeah, 6'2".
Unbelievable.
This guy, it's the greatest handles of all time. I don't
Yes.
think anyone can discuss that. But what's crazy is that it either old or young, I saw this montage of so many former players talking about how great Kyrie is with the ball. He's the most gifted. Someone like Allen Iverson saying that. That's how you got respect. And for older guys, they'll hate on Steph Curry or one of these younger generation cats in a heartbeat. If they're doing that for Kyrie, he's getting generational respect. That's why he's a great player, man.
All right, Rich, let's go ahead and pay some more bills. Let's take another break. And when we come back out, we'll have an opportunity to talk about the richest running back contract in the history of the NFL. And I'll tell you what, it was not going to be a surprise who has gotten that big deal. All right, you are watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is Sports Visions 92.1.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
How clean is the water you're drinking and bathing in? If you call Aquasana Water today, they'll provide you with a free assessment telling you the condition of your tap water. Aquasana sells whole house water filters starting at $1,000. Isn't that worth it to have a 10-year supply of filtered, cleaner water? Aquasana water filters tackle chlorine taste and odor and can reduce contaminants like viruses, lead, forever chemicals, and microplastics, depending on the system you purchased. So make the free call, find out the condition of your water, and make your water cleaner the Aquasana way. It's a smart decision for you and your family and a must for a healthy home. Get a whole house Aquasana water system starting at $1,000 for your entire home. Call and find out the condition of your water with a free water assessment. 800-934-3021. 800-934-3021. 800-934-3021. That's 800-934-3021.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MOVE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
If you need furniture, you need to shop Gory's Furniture Express. Why? Well, their showroom is full of the finest furniture that money can buy, and their discounts throughout the store during Gory's Madness of March sale. Plus, they have their basketball goals set up inside where you can shoot for up to an additional 15% off, and that's only at Gory's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
Transforming your land with a John Deere compact tractor is as easy as connect, latch, load, haul, spread. Cutting grass is as simple as roll, click, mow. Box blading is as effortless as hook, lock, grade. And backhoeing is as convenient as turn around, switch, dig. Because when you've got the versatility to tackle just about any job and dealer supporting your own backyard, you just have to get in the seat. Find the right compact tractor for you at johndeere.com.
Operation Homefront, they opened up so many possibilities. It took us from a hopeless situation. Now we're homeowners. We have a savings account. It's completely changed the way our life is. Our household is so much happier.
Visit OperationHomefront.org to learn more.
You're listening to the SportsVisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Now back to DJ and Thrift on SportsVisions 92.1.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and Richard Holdridge switching seats. No, got Thrift flying the plane again, and I know Rich is going to have to roll out in just a little bit. But, Rich, I tell you, when you talk about NFL contracts and running backs, I know that they have been downsized somewhat. But you know what? Saquon Barkley, the effort that he had this season is leading the Philadelphia Eagles to not only just a world championship, a Super Bowl, but having over 2,500 yards rushing, one of the best seasons of a running back in a long, long time. And, he deserves to get re-upped. He got an extension from the Philadelphia Eagles, 2 years, $42 million, 21 per. And again, he has another $15 million or so in incentives that are also reachable, possible in that deal. So congratulations to not only Saquon, but congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles for doing what needed to be done.
Yeah, and it seems like Saquon Barkley's not going to slow down anytime soon. I know in the past, teams didn't want to give running backs big money because of the shelf life of running backs. We saw what happened with Ezekiel Elliott. We saw what happened with Todd Gurley. But I think that Saquon Barkley, he keeps his body in shape. I think he is going to be playing running back at a high level in his 30s. I mean, he's going to be playing, and what a payoff for the Philadelphia Eagles to get him in free agency and for him to really make the difference of them winning a Super Bowl.
Thrift, how idiotic you have to be if you're in the front office of the New York Giants, knowing that you gave away, you're not made a deal, you gave away one of the best running backs in the league.
It's going back again, DJ, to what I keep saying about these GM types. The Sean, I think his name's Joe Sean.
Yeah.
I think that's his name.
I think so.
Don't quote me on that, but this guy saying that about the market and just how arrogant he sounded in that clip when he's talking to his owner and Mara about trading away Saquon Barkley and how it's what's best for the organization, and the way he called and with the confidence to tell Saquon that, yeah, he's letting him go like it wasn't a big deal. That's buffoonery. But I've seen that again from a lot of GMs, going back to the Nico Harrison. And I just don't understand how these guys, I guess that's what you have to be to get this job.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, maybe you have to have this type of arrogance to take on a position like this. But man,
to swallow that pill and make a move that idiotic. This doesn't make any sense.
They're playing checkers. They weren't playing chess.
No,
I mean,
absolutely.
and sometimes, again, you got to hold that poker face, and then the face doesn't necessarily have to be how you look. What comes out of your mouth and how you handle these situations and how you handle these players. And it takes a certain skill level. It takes experience. You can't this can't be your first opportunity. It can't be your you can't be a neophyte if you in a position like that, because that that's enough to get fired. I mean, that decision, unless it was coming from the superiors, coming from the guys that are with a much higher pay grade than the general manager, because then that happens. That happens, and we saw it happen out in, of course, Dallas. We saw it obviously with the decision that was made by the Giants to, again, not just let him go, but let him go to, an opponent just right down the highway.
Yeah. I mean, if you're the Giants, I mean, what are you thinking? I mean, it was a couple of years ago that you were in the playoffs, and Brian Dable had Daniel Jones playing well, and Saquon Barkley was the key focus of that offense. And it seems like the Giants not run very well, just giving away Saquon Barkley, not only just giving him away, but to a division rival. I mean, how does that? I mean, look, I'm a 49ers fan. I really, when they traded away Trey Lance to the Cowboys, that kind of Steve Young came out and said, you never make a trade with the Cowboys. That is your hated rival. It didn't sit well when Brett Favre went back to the Vikings. Obviously, he had to go to the Jets first. The Packers didn't trade him away to the Vikings. But to see Saquon Barkley in an Eagles uniform having to play the Giants twice, that had to be painful for Giants fans.
Yes, indeed. And we can't talk about pro football without talking about these Atlanta Falcons. I know that the trade, the deadline was yesterday, as far as the tag, putting the tag on these players. And I don't think that's a problem right now. But the bottom line is, again, how are they going to handle, and what's going to be the deciding factor, whether Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy that's going to be standing on the sidelines and, of course, handling or helping Michael Penix Jr. with his game and his development, or is he going to be going off and, of course, getting more money and, of course, adding on to that boatload of money that he has made over his career?
Yeah, if I'm the Falcons, I'm keeping him, is what I'm doing, and he's just going to let him hold a clipboard and make all the money he can. Why are you going to buy him out for him to go somewhere else, make more money, and then what if he starts next year? I wouldn't do that, because he lied to you. I wouldn't do him any favors if I'm the Falcons. That's just me.
Well, again, I like what you said, but on the same hand, Michael Penix Jr. hasn't proven to the point of him being the answer. He's had flashes of brilliance, and he's had a show, and we're going to give him an opportunity, but we want to make sure that if he falls on his face or if he gets injured, we got somebody, and we don't need to do that. We've been in that situation long enough, and you know what? You're right. It might not necessarily be the best decision now that we see the what has happened from last year. But the fact of the matter is, again, just you made the mistake. Don't make another one by, of course, like letting him go and being shorthanded.
Obviously, it's frustrating if you're in the Falcons organization. You haven't made the playoffs since 2017. You bring in Kirk Cousins thinking that this is the answer because we have all the pieces. We just need a quarterback. They start out very good, 6-3. Kirk Cousins struggles. They should have went to Michael Penix Jr. earlier. I think they might even make the playoffs if they start Penix. But I'm telling you, this is going to be the make or break. It was make or break last year for Terry Fontenot and that organization. And if they don't make the playoffs, I think Fontenot's gone, and I think Raheem Morris is gone. And unfortunately, I think Raheem Morris may not have gotten a whole lot of time. A lot of people weren't really happy about the hire, but Raheem Morris is going to end up being the scapegoat along with Fontenot if they don't make the playoffs next year.
You know what? The playoffs, you're right about that, but I think something as an event that's going to happen a lot sooner than the playoffs is going to make going to put a good taste or a bad taste into the mouths of the Falcon community. And that's, of course, the draft, NFL draft. And, of course, the Georgia players that are being considered are not being considered. I think that they could save themselves, not just because they're just drafting a Georgia player just for the sake of the fans, but somebody that can help their team. An edge rusher like our homeboy, Mikael Williams, if he's there at number 15, which I don't think he will be. I just got to think that somebody's going to take him a little bit sooner. I think the Saints get to pick ahead of the Falcons, but. And I think that the Saints have an opportunity to take him, but if in fact, and he's not the only one, he's not the only Falcon that should be taken and that they need in Atlanta on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, exactly. But if this happens and he is there and the Falcons don't take Michael Williams, the uproar and and then it's like, I don't think you should just come out in public and say we don't want to take Georgia players. We think they're too close to their university or whatever the reason may be. Because you can't say this should just happenstance. It's just, we just found like there's a better player. Every single time there's a Georgia player, you find someone better. A team that's been one of the best teams in the country. Are you kidding me?
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing is for sure is that when we talking about these Atlanta Falcons, man, it's so much to be desired. I just, it's crazy. It's crazy to the fact that we have, this situation, but we got somebody on the phone.
We actually got guy that is boots on the ground from Brave spring training camp.
All right. Our guy T-Red, of course, from WRBL. T-Red, I know that this is the last morning or last day that you're going to be down there, but what do you got coming from Northport?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Today we're actually heading back. Yesterday was our final day technically at camp. We are still technically in Florida, but we are on the way back today. Big day yesterday for us. We got a lot of big interviews. Ronald Acuna, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Marcelo Zuna, you name it. But also some interviews from back at home. Jordan Weems, former Columbus High pitcher who's making his way through the organization. Also Cody Gabella, the new manager of the Columbus Clingstones. So big day yesterday. Got a lot done. And we're feeling the effects of the sun and all the work we've been doing for sure.
Good work, man. I tell you, you know what? You didn't make us feel as good, and maybe you were just being humble. Because you didn't sound like you were going to be able to pull off what you just pulled off. Because that's an all-star list of names and a who's who in the Braves camp. And I don't know anybody that has gone down and have come back home with that many goods. Great job.
Well, thank you. You never really know. You really don't. I mean, it's kind of who's going to talk to me today? You really don't know, and you don't get it if you don't ask. And we were able to get an all-star cast of the major leaguers, and we were finally able to pull off, our local guys and make all that happen. So big week for us, and thrilled with what we've gotten. We've gotten weeks of coverage out of it. I think we got to lay it all out, but a ton of footage to go through, a ton of exciting things there. And, while we were down there, there was some breaking news. I'm sure you guys heard about Sean Murphy. We got an update on the catching position. Sean Murphy's out for 4 to 6 weeks, which opens up an opportunity. And, Chadwick Trump and Drake Baldwin are going to be competing for, that opening day starter, along with some veterans that are in the minors, Kirk Casale and Sandy Leon. So a lot going on, on the catching front, but also just a lot of moving pieces. The bullpen's wide open. The starting rotation is not even set, really. I mean, we have an idea of who it may be, but it's not set 100%. So a lot of moving pieces, but a lot of fun too.
Tyler, I know that Ronald Acuna Jr. and Spencer Strider are rehabbing. We're probably not going to see them in action, but you've been down there. You've kind of talked to them and seen how their progress is going. Is it looking like Spencer Strider could possibly be ready in the beginning of the year? Because it's looking like he's going to at least be the number 2 starter behind Chris Sale. Or what's the pitching rotation looking like for Strider to possibly get in there?
Oh, Strider will be in the rotation this year. He just won't do it on opening day. It'll probably be, they say it's not going to be opening day. That could mean, a month into the season. It could mean a week into the season. We really don't know. He is looking good by all indications, as is Ronald. Speaking with Acuna yesterday, he was in a chipper mood. He seemed to really just be ready to be back on the field. That's kind of what I spoke with him about, just how much do you miss playing baseball? And you could see it on his face that, being away is eating at him. It's not fun for these guys to, watch all their teammates have to play without him. And for Strider, I think he's going to be ready fairly quickly. I don't think it's going to be, May before he gets back. I think he's going to be back within a month. And I think, he's just like Acuna. He's ready to go. I saw him in the clubhouse yesterday, but the pitchers were running around like crazy. They had a big meeting or something going on, so didn't get a chance to speak to him really, not on camera anyway. But, he seems to be feeling good. I mean, he's dressing out, he's throwing, he's pitching. And in terms of how the starting rotation is going to shake out, for opening day, of course, you're going to have Chris Sale, right? No doubt about that. You're going to see Sale in the rotation. I assume opening day starter. Your number 2 and number 3 right now are Ronaldo Lopez and Spencer Schwellenbach. And to a lot of people, that's kind of like, not exactly what you may want to hear, but Ronaldo Lopez and Spencer Schwellenbach had really good seasons last year. Ronaldo was an all-star. Spencer Schwellenbach had a phenomenal rookie debut year. And, after that, that's where it gets dicey. But you got Ian Anderson, who's coming off an injury, who we've seen what he can do when healthy. Grant Holmes, of course, he's the last guy that's kind of looking for that 5th spot. But that 5th spot's temporary because the 5th spot very well may be Spencer Strider, at some point here or there. So the moment Strider comes back, they're going to have to make a decision either to move Grant Holmes back to the bullpen or, put him, have a 6-man rotation. So we're going to have to see how it shakes out. But again, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things can change after today. But I think the Braves are pretty happy with where they are.
The local aspect of it and talking to Coach Cabela, talk about how that experience was and what was your overall feel with him?
Yeah, we don't know who's going to be a Clingstone, right? We don't know what the roster for Clingstones are. We have maybe an idea. And I'll tell you, getting to the minor leaguers is a really tough thing because, they don't have minor league clubhouse. They have major league clubhouse. That's where, it's open to the media. You can talk to whoever you want and you can get what you need. Minor league, they don't really do that. So the only person we really know that's going to be a Clingstone is Cody Cabela. And, I was speaking with him yesterday mainly about, how's the team shaping up, the excitement around playing in a brand new ballpark in Columbus, only an hour or two away from Atlanta, and really the excitement that's already building in the community. And he's like, yeah, I feel it. I've heard about, how excited that Columbus is, the investment that's been made. The park looks great. He hasn't seen it in person, but he's definitely aware of what the facilities are, and he's very impressed by them.
If you're just joining us, we have with us WRBL's sports anchor reporter, and his name is Tyler Redmond. He's boots on the ground. He's done an awesome job of coming back with a collection of who's who interviews with, of course, the Braves as well as Clingstone's manager, Coach Cabela. Listen, let me ask you this. When you were talking to him, did he ask you, hey, look, what's a good, nice little spot for me to get some good fried fish or, hot dog or, a cold beer? He didn't, you guys didn't get in to chop it up like that at all, did you?
He did mention food. I'd be lying to you if I told you he didn't mention food. He said, I'm a big food guy. I'm excited to see what, downtown Columbus has to offer. And of course I told him you got to check out the Cannon. He's already looking forward to the local culture of Columbus and the food that's going to come with it, the fans that are going to come with it. And I think he's just ready to have, boots on the ground, so to speak, in Columbus.
I think that's another way too for you to get, get on his good side. Not that he has a bad side, but get on the good side. But help him, get introduced to Columbus culture. I mean, this is a great little spot here. Obviously, it's our hometown, and again, he's going to be here for however long he's going to be here. But he would definitely want him to make sure that he find all the little spots and all the little things that when he's not at the ballpark, which he's probably going to be 90% of the time, he'll have an opportunity to go and get something good to eat and drink.
Absolutely. Yeah. We had a good talk about that prior to the interview. But to be honest with you, the other thing I'll tell you is his dad is a big league scout, former manager with the Expos in the minors. So he comes from a long line, a long history of baseball. He grew up in the sport, and he's excited, to follow his dad's footsteps as a minor league manager. He's been that already in Rome and in the Florida Complex League. Now he gets to do it at an even higher level at AA. So we got a good one coming to Columbus. I'm excited about it. I know he is too.
Tyler, when would we expect to see the Columbus Cleanstones roster fill out? Are they waiting on the Braves to make their opening day roster and then Gwinnett?
So it's interesting. They really won't know for sure until about a day or two before the season. That's when they travel where they're going, and that's when we'll know. We'll know kind of what the opening day roster will look like at that point. But you can get an indication of it. A name that has come up in conversation around here that I find the most interesting is probably Blake Burkhalter. Burkhalter played at Auburn, and he was drafted, first or second round a few years ago by the Braves. Has battled some injuries, but a lot of people are thinking he's going to be Double-A because I've asked around. Hey, give me a name or two that could be at that level. And if that's the type of guy you're going to get at Double-A, then we're going to have an exciting year. To be honest with you, I wish we knew more. I wish we knew exactly what the roster was going to be. But you can get an indication. I would say look at the high A team from last year, who did well kind of thing. But it's really all about who has a good spring training too. Like people will get promoted, but they got to show it too. So we'll see what happens over the next, 3 to 4 weeks and go from there.
T-Red, excellent job on your assignment down and spring training for the Braves, and look forward to seeing all the things that you were able to collect and all the interviews, man.
Yeah, today actually you can check out that Jordan Weems and Colton Ingram feature. That's our local feature as we travel back. You can see that tonight at 6 o'clock on WRBL News 3. So we got a busy few weeks of spring training coverage left, and looking forward to sharing it with the community.
Go ahead and give your social information on the way out.
Sure. You can follow me on YouTube, Braves on Deck. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tyler Edmond TV. And, of course, check us out on WRBL News 3 at 6 and 11 tonight. And, of course, 6 and 11 every other weekday as well.
Hey, man, be safe on the road. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, T-Red.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's go ahead and take a break. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 92.1. This is the SportsVisions Morning Show.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the SportsVisions Morning Show. SportsVisions 92.1.
How clean is the water you're drinking and bathing in? If you call Aquasana Water today, they'll provide you with a free assessment telling you the condition of your tap water. Aquasana sells whole house water filters starting at $1,000. Isn't that worth it to have a 10-year supply of filtered, cleaner water? Aquasana water filters tackle chlorine taste and odor and can reduce contaminants like viruses, lead, forever chemicals, and microplastics, depending on the system you purchased. So make the free call, find out the condition of your water, and make your water cleaner the Aquasana way. It's a smart decision for you and your family and a must for a healthy home. Get a whole house Aquasana water system starting at $1,000 for your entire home. Call and find out the condition of your water with a free water assessment. 800-934-3021. 800-934-3021. 800-934-3021. That's 800-934-3021.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
This hour of the SportsVisions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
Transforming your land with a John Deere compact tractor is as easy as connect, latch, load, haul, spread. Cutting grass is as simple as roll, click, mow. Box blading is as effortless as hook, lock, grade. And backhoeing is as convenient as turn around, switch, dig. Because when you've got the versatility to tackle just about any job and dealer support in your own backyard, you just have to get in the seat. Find the right compact tractor for you at johndeere.com.
Lori's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
If you need furniture, you need to shop Gory's Furniture Express. Why? Well, their showroom is full of the finest furniture that money can buy, and their discounts throughout the store during Gory's Madness of March sale. Plus, they have their basketball goals set up inside where you can shoot for up to an additional 15% off, and that's only at Gory's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Many Americans have missed regular dental care in the past few years. It's important to see a dentist twice a year to identify any problems early. Taking care of your oral health helps overall health. Brushing at least twice a day with fluoride toothpaste and flossing daily can help prevent oral health problems. For more information, visit hrsa.gov/oral-health.
In 2017, our daughter remarkably sang her way to the finals of America's Got Talent.
But the real miracle is that she even made it to the stage. When she was 4, she survived sepsis.
When it comes to sepsis, remember, it's about time. Watch for T, temperature that's abnormal. I, signs of an infection. M, mental decline. E, feeling extremely ill.
Take the time now to learn more at sepsis.org.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. The only live and local sports morning show. It's the Sports Visions Morning Show with Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer on Sports Visions 92.1.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Richard Holdridge. Richard did his thing this morning, Thrift. He got us to
Big
and
Rich.
from. Huh?
Yeah, he came in, he flew the plane, and then we had to make a change at the what's it called, the pilot in midair, but
right.
we made it happen.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Tyler Redmond from WRBL. He's boots on the ground at North Point. It was great going to him down there. I was so happy to hear that he's gotten a chance to talk to so many of the Braves and bringing that information back so that he can, of course, keep all the Braves fans uplifted with regards to what's going on in the locker room, what's going on behind the scenes with the Atlanta Braves also.
Yep.
Hey, look, we're excited to have a guy here that, this is like, my big brother. Sam Crenshaw is no stranger in radio and television around the country, not just around here, y'all. It's around the country. This guy's he's him. And he's going to be, of course, calling the game at 1:00 game down at the Macon Centraplex. It's going to be Hardaway versus, is it Murray County?
Murray County.
Please welcome.
That's Thursday.
That's Thursday. I keep, for the last 3 days, and Thrift is my witness, I've been saying that you guys are going to play the game today. Hardaway's going to play. I'm so anxious for this game to happen, man. I'm so happy for Kelly Ellison, but let's welcome you to the show. Welcome to the Sports Vision Morning Show, Sam Crenshaw. How are you?
Great to be with you, man. Up and getting ready to hit the road and head down to Macon for a week of great basketball. It's a state tournament, and GPV Sports is bringing basketball back. They've done football for many, many years, and they're bringing basketball back. And I think it's fitting because of the caliber of talent that's coming out of our state in basketball. And we always say, why don't they get to keep them in state? And I think when you give it a treatment like this, it lets them know that basketball is a priority around here as well. And so let's see if some of these, I know in some of the girls' games, there's several girls who are committed to UGA. There's some who are committed to Georgia Tech that we're going to get to see in action. So, we get sick sometimes of turning on March Madness and seeing these folks from these other places and seeing our folks from Georgia, helping these other states get up there and make it to the Final Four. So let's see if some of our current crop will be able to do that in years to come.
Sam, this is a big assignment for you, being on the call down in Macon tomorrow and throughout the weekend. But how do you prepare? What can for the young people that are listening out there? How do you go after? How do you prepare? And what's your preparation for the big week?
For me, it's getting out and watching some of the teams. For me, if they're in this area, if they're coming through this area. So in the last week, I got out to see somebody. I'm assigned to all the girls' championship games. Myself and Kelsey Rogers, who works games with me for Georgia State. So it's someone that I'm familiar with. We know how to bounce things off each other, and that helps. And not only is she a former player at Georgia State, she is a current official. So that's another bonus you get. I mean, if somebody's blowing something, if there's a rule change or something, I just let her get them. I say, get them. Don't worry about me taking on the officials, right? Because officiating is a tough job, and we know that's a shortage in all sports of officiating. People are reluctant to put those stripes on. So, she does that, and she knows them very well. And so I enjoy working the games with her. We did conference calls with each of the coaches for our game. We were able to, Steve Graham from GPB was able to scurry around and get them all some time on the phone with us. And so we had a chance to talk with them and get some backstories. And there's some tremendous stories on both of them, the boys and the girls tournament. You got two schools that have a chance to go for the sweep. We'll see Holy Innocents today. We'll get an opportunity. The girls will play in their first game against a longtime coach who's done great things. Jan Azar for many years was winning championships at Wesleyan. Now she's at Hebron Christian. Well, Nicole Dixon, the coach at Holy Innocents, was one of her assistants. As a matter of fact, they go back to being teacher and pupil at Mount DeSales outside of Macon. So they've known each other for so very long, and they're going to be opposing each other today. So you got tremendous backstories. Spent some time talking with the coach over at Maynard Jackson. They're going to play Creekside for the girls' championship in their classification. She is a 7-year pancreatic cancer survivor.
Wow.
She will have the assistant coaches doing the standing. She will sit during the game, but just a determination to be there, right? And Maynard Jackson won last year. And so she had 8 players graduate. They're back with a chance to go for it this time. And so, just tremendous stories. But I can tell you what, a story I can't wait for is Hardaway. This is going to be so much fun. And I know that everyone from Columbus in that area is going to show up and pack the Macon Centerplex for this game. I think it's going to be a fantastic matchup. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you made mention of Hardaway. They have just been a team on a mission. They were up by double digits last year, Sam, in that championship game. The Baldwin ended up losing in the final second. So they came back motivated than ever. And they've won every game by double digits. They won some of them by 40. I called their Elite 8 game, and it was a no-doubter. In the first 5 minutes of the game, you knew it was over with. And they were playing a really good Columbia team. But they take on Murray County. Hardaway's not number 1 for people in Columbus. They think they are, but they're ranked number 3 technically. They beat the number 2. They beat the number 6. Now they got to beat number 1. What do you know about Murray County in this matchup against Hardaway tomorrow?
There are a number of girls teams from up in the mountains. If you watch this week, you're going to see Banks County play. You're going to see Fanning County play. They come through the gym throwing up threes. I mean, that's the way they play ball up in that part of the state, and that's what they know they're going to have to be ready for. Have a great defense to defend that, but then also do what you do well, and that's apply that pressure, the pressure defense that they love to play, and try to force some turnovers. But it's going to be those two classic styles going up against each other. I think Hardaway has a player that's remarkable, but she's not the only one. They got some good talent around. They can distribute things offensively and get that point production. So as I said, Coach Ellison talked about how much a scheduling, and just like when you get to this stage for football, you talk with those coaches, what's the toughest thing to do? And that was the scheduling, to try to get some teams that are going to put you in situations that it pay off this time of year. And she went out and got some, she took on some folks early in the season. Yeah. Hoover, Alabama, and folks like, I was like, good grief, Coach. I said, who made this schedule? She just started laughing, right? But that echoes with each and every one of the coaches who made it to this point. They wanted someone that was going to put their teams in some different situations. And so you saw them go to play in tournaments out of town during the holidays. Some of these teams were traveling just to get more time in together in some different situations. And the reward is, here they are this week going to play for state championship. Absolutely.
Yes, Sam, I wanted to use this also as a teaching moment. You made mention to your partner that will be calling the game with you. Again, they can, it's good to have go back and forth. But for the young broadcasters listening out there, talk about how important that is, and of course, and how you want that presentation to go across, whether it's radio or television.
Yep, it's very important to have some type of chemistry, just like the people you're going to be talking about. Chemistry is important there, and it's very important when you work in a broadcast like this. Tremendous opportunity, to have two games. We're going to have two opportunities each day. One game at 1 o'clock and another one at 5:30 to go out and tell the stories of these teams and of their communities and the backstories. So I think that's very important that we learn those type things. So we've been trading notes, and I've been doing some extra interviews. I went over to Georgia State. Matter of fact, for the games, semifinal games this weekend over at Georgia State, Kelsey was actually on the floor officiating. She was there working games, and then she decided to come up and we took some notes and exchanged some things together. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. And as people will say, great theater, when you think about the backgrounds and what it means. Some of these communities that are coming places like Wilcox County, that's Rochelle, Georgia. I've never been to Rochelle, Georgia, but this is the biggest thing that may happen in that community all year. And so you want to treat it right. You want to handle it right, regarding those players and be able to make sure to tell their stories. DJ, I'm looking forward to Saturday at 1 o'clock. Saturday at 1 o'clock, we're going to see something we haven't seen in a long time. We're going to see Southwest Macon boys play for the state championship.
Wow.
You're going to be able to shoehorn to get more people in this place. Southwest Macon play, and you and I remember those great teams, and you went to school, I think, with Terry Fair. And
yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what that means. And so we're going to get a chance to see some history. And oddly enough, the school they're going to face, Best Academy, sits in the same old building and plot of West Fulton High School, who at the time had something. And Coach Anderson came from Tavesta. Anderson was the coach over there at the time. So we're talking a lot of history.
Right.
Going to be rolled out there Saturday.
I mean, it's going to be awesome, man. And the Patriots, I've been following one of the guys that's a quarterback here for the Columbus Lions, Marcus Brooks, actually played at Southwest Macon, was a great player there. His son plays on the team, so I've been following him on Facebook, and he's been showing me the ride all the way, and now he's talking about how it's going to be the entire community and the Macon complex for sure, Sam. But I want you to go back and saying on the topic of the broadcasting part, I had the pleasure of doing the GIAA last week.
I noticed that. I peeped you a little bit.
Yeah, man, it was busy. 16 games in 4 days. You make mention of you having to do 2 games a day. Having that much information and that many teams, how crucial is it for help? Like I had help from the GIAA. They gave me as much information as they can. Mm-hmm. They work with the schools because, again, it comes from the schools. So you need help from the schools. You need help from GPB to make sure you get all the information, because otherwise, Sam, that's a lot of schools and a lot of research you're having to do, which I know you're a research guy, but in the end, you need help to be able to cover all these and know what you're talking about on these broadcasts. So you talk about that relationship and how that makes it possible for you to be successful.
Well, that's what thankful for what they do with GPB, and that's the way they treat all the games each Friday night, and then especially when you get the state championship week for football. I always say they give it the Saturday afternoon treatment, and it makes a difference. It's something that people have come to expect. I think it's something our young people in our communities, the school administrations, and the coaches deserve the work that they put in. Let's face it, there was back in the day when you start your basketball practice, and that's when people would start focusing on the basketball team. These folks work since last summer, to get to where they are this week. So absolutely. And that's the thing that I've tried to keep up with some of them. When I found out I was going to get this assignment, decided, let me go out and watch some of these teams. The King Holiday, ironically, there was a big King Holiday showcase. It's held at Holy Innocents. A chance to go over there and watch their team.
Awesome.
Hebron was playing against Dr. Phillips, which is one of the top programs out of the Florida area, and they were behind. And I said that we haven't seen a Jan Azar coach basketball team behind, rarely. So we got to see them do that thing and deal with that adversity. She's got 2 players who got season-ending injuries early in the year. One of them is bound for University of Georgia. And so as difficult as it's been to have to play without those 2 rising star players, the others have had to grow up a little bit, and she's had to do a little extra coaching. But I mean, she doesn't mind doing that. And the cream has come to the top, and here they are ready to go for her 17th.
Wow.
State championship. It'll be 17th for Coach Jan Azar there today. But I want to say something as we talk about high school basketball in Georgia. remember now, we got two of this state's all-time greats who are finalists for the Naismith Hall of Fame this year. Two people I think who were game changers for high school basketball in the state, Dwight Howard and Maya Moore, are both finalists. And we're going to find out Final Four weekend if one. I know one of them going to make it for sure.
Yes.
And Dwight, maybe if we go on what he did at Southwest Atlanta Christian, and in Orlando, things got a little sideways after he left for Orlando. But the Orlando Magic Dwight Howard was bound for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
For people who didn't catch that part of him, they caught after the Lakers part. But this guy was on track for that. So they are both finalists. Maya, a game changer. All she did was win. All she did was, and left a little sooner than some people wanted her.
Right.
You would like to have seen her hang around and be a part of what's happening now.
Yes.
You would love to have seen her be a part of that. And people talk about this, debate many things about Caitlin Clark. She is the one person when Caitlin Clark met, she broke into tears.
Yeah.
That was her hero. And so I think it's great as we honor the players who are playing in the state championship this weekend that we got two who went before them, who have a chance to be Naismith Hall of Famers. And I'm selfish. I like for folks that I covered to make the Hall of Fame.
No doubt.
If you're just joining us, we have with us the all do everything kind of guy. He's a radio guy, TV guy. He's an analyst. He's a broadcaster. He's an anchor. He's a reporter. Sam Crenshaw, our friend, is he's off the chain. And Sam, I can't have you on the show without, of course, asking you a little bit about some Georgia State athletics. I know the spring ball is coming up for Coach McGee.
Started yesterday.
Absolutely. And again, has there been an influx of players coming in, transfers from the portal?
Absolutely. You know Dale McGee. He's been working all the time. He will come to Georgia State basketball games. We look over there and he had that phone out. I said, look at him over there. And so you may not know what he's doing. I said, I know exactly what he's doing.
Yes.
So he's done some talent is coming in. We're pretty excited about them. We saw one quarterback that played in the state from Toombs County that played in the state championship. Very talented players coming in. I don't know if he's going to be slated to be a starter because I think he's got a transfer coming in that's probably going to be ahead of him in the pecking order for that. But they got to get it together and get the most out of these days. Find out who's going to stay on board because the portal will open again. And, of course, they open up with a very tough assignment. They have to go to Oxford, Mississippi to take on Ole Miss to kick off the season. So it's not an easy start to the schedule at all. Matter of fact, the schedule is quite difficult this time around. They're going to go they got to go up to Vanderbilt. Those folks remember how they embarrassed them last year.
Yes.
So, those type things that the schedule has that they're going to be dealing with coming up. But we look for year two to be another big step, and that he's retained a good part on the defensive side. They'll be returning, but also, he's got some new running backs. My goodness, we had the top running back from last year. He had the transfer portal last week. So, that's happening. That means, he sees something that he's brought in that's going to be more productive. And so everyone's very much looking forward to that around here.
We're excited about it too, Sam. But, Sam, I've learned a lot from you, man. And for one of the things is there's no opportunity too big or too small. You feel like every opportunity that it comes your way. Now, it may be a scheduling conflict, but you're always going to try your best to make do with that opportunity, from doing the news to doing things for Georgia State to having your own radio program. You got your hand almost in everything. For all the young broadcasters out there, that's advice that I try to give them too, that anytime you get an opportunity, you never know who you're going to meet through that opportunity that can help lead you to an even bigger opportunity.
Yeah, you really don't. I had a long conversation with somebody from the state representative yesterday. Just something else out there. And I said, okay, we'll talk. Why don't you come on down to the Capitol? I said, hey, none of that for me. But we had a great conversation about some things that he's very, very interested in. Some legislation, by the way, on high school NIL, and also about girls flag football. So we talked, and I said, okay, we'll come down and have a cup of coffee and see what. See what you're looking, what your legislation looks like. He's got some people on board with him. He got people like Demetrius Douglas, who's on board with him. And then go old school. Got Dewey McClain.
Yeah.
They're former Falcons. So he's got some people. It's bipartisan, and it's good. And it's about our young folk. And I said, good. If it's about our young people in high school athletics, I said, I'm all for it. So that's something else, but I ain't running for nothing. But it's good. And like you say, Thrift, it does open up opportunities. It does get you in some arenas sometimes, and you want to like, how did I end up here? But you're talking about something that somebody shares interest in, and they say, hey, we want you to know about this. So I'm just thankful for those opportunities. And just like anybody else, if you're on a field, on a team, it's reps, right?
Yes.
Reps. I never set out to be one thing. I know so many people when I was starting, I said, I want to be the anchor. I want to be the anchor. I'm like, I never wanted to be the anchor. I wanted to be a reporter. I wanted to be at the games. That's where I wanted to be. I mean, that's bringing back information and letting people know. Everybody can't go in the locker room. Everybody can't go in the clubhouse. That's
right.
That's your job, to come back and bring back information, for the fans and for the listeners and viewers. So that's and I felt like if I approached it that way, it would always be something that would force me to evolve and grow. And
Absolutely.
So that's been my approach.
And Sam, as we're talking about it, and as far as your development in the business, early on in your career, a lot of people see you now and they know that you get some great assignments and some great games and you do a wonderful job. But your journey from to get there, obviously, there were some things that you had to do, some things that probably and even I'm still talking to the younger people that when they get opportunities, they think that they can you don't just go from from first to third. You got to get up to the plate. And you got to swing the bat, and you got to get to first base first. And with saying that is that early on in your career, you weren't in some places that you probably wanted to be, but it was necessary.
Absolutely. And the story I love to tell, I worked on a program called Black College Sports Today for a few years with ESPN, and they produced it in Greensboro, North Carolina. I just happened to be working as the weekend sports anchor in Greensboro at the time. But, we went to do a remote with it. We were going to go on location. We went down to Orlando for the Florida, well, it wasn't the Florida Classic. It was a game between Tennessee State and Florida A&M. And they played it, in Orlando. And so we go down for that game, and they give me the sideline report because I said, I wanted to try sideline reporting. I said, we're going to be there anyway.
Right.
Do you need a sideline report? It was with the late Tom Mees and Mike Mayock.
Right.
We're the play-by-play crew for that. They said, you know what, we'll have a headset for you and a microphone, but it's not a compensated position. In other words, we're not going to pay you to do it.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, if you have the microphone there, you got the headset there, I'll be there.
Right.
And I'll do the job. And you have to wonder, okay, I'm not going to get paid for this, but what do I get from this? I get an opportunity. I get a chance to prove to myself that I can do it. I get a chance to show someone else I can do it. And I get some tape.
Right.
Or how important that tape is, right?
Yes.
So I said, okay, I'm winning. You know what I mean? I'm already down there anyway. Somebody's always paid for my fight, my room. I'm already there. So why not take advantage of this opportunity? And man, it rained. I can do in Central Florida, that crazy rain, sideways rain. They took the teams off the field. They brought them back, and the storm circled around again. And it rained. They took the teams off the field a second time. It's not even halftime yet, DJ. And I ruined a new pair of shoes. I'm running around trying to interview the coaches and everybody with a metal microphone and lightning crackling all over. And I paid a doggone dime.
Right.
But the opportunity to do that, somebody up in Bristol saw it and said, you know what? Can you get off on this date and this time? We're going to be covering this game down at Grambling. And Eddie Robinson, who at the time things were really slowing down for him, we feel like he's going to get his 400th win at this Mississippi Valley.
Yes.
See if you can be free and be on the sideline for that game. And DJ, let me tell you something. You and Thrift, that's an assignment of a lifetime to me, to be there on the sideline in Grambling with all of his players back, Doug Williams and all the great players back, and interview his wife and everybody. And at the end of the game, he gets a call from President Clinton.
Wow.
And I'm there for that. And I always said, I would have done that for free. They paid me. Because they ain't getting their money back.
Right.
But to be there and be a part of that moment was priceless. But I tell young people, in order to get to that moment, I had to say, you know what? I didn't say, you know what? I'm doing weekend sports on the top 50 market. I ain't doing nothing for free.
Right.
No, I I had to figure out what I was going to get from that. And that's a story I like to share with anyone who's looking to get into this line of work.
Well, I'm glad you
Awesome,
shared
man.
that story. And again, we have just a couple of minutes here, but I got to get your perspective on the Braves, man. The Braves, what are you thinking? I know we just had a guy boots on the ground. He's talking about, the most recent injury. Got a guy who's going to be out for a while with a rib injury, the catcher. That, yeah.
Ouch. We didn't even get the starting gate. We didn't even get the horses to the gate, did we?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. We hope this is not going to be this time, this kind of year. But you know what? They got a young prospect there, and hopefully he's ready to step in. We're going to miss we miss Travis Darno because he will be ready to step right in. Let's work on that. But to me, let's get the starting rotation straightened out. I think that's the biggest thing. Who are your starters going to be until you can get Strider there? You lose two mainstays of your starting rotation, and Freed and Morton. Who do we get for that? I mean, I think that's very important. And then you got somebody, you brought in an outfielder that's going to get a chance to not rush Ronald Acuna back. When he gets back, potentially we got speed on that outfield. It's going to be, incredible. We talk about offensive production, but defensively, that outfield has an opportunity to be stellar this year. So that's what I think is the biggest thing right now. You saw who you're going to have behind the plate.
Yeah.
But more than anything, establish that starting rotation.
Sam, we appreciate you, man, and good luck. We'll be, of course, watching you tomorrow. And again, thank you for coming on the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Thanks, Sam.
Always great to join you guys, man. Take care. Everybody come down to Macon. Check out the great basketball.
All right. That's Sam Crenshaw, our guy. We're going to go ahead and take a break. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Vision 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
Drive me a deserted. No time to have you lurking.
You are listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. A Talbot County man, 52-year-old William Harvey, was arrested on felony arson charges after allegedly setting a wildfire on March 2nd. The fire, which destroyed 2 buildings, was contained, and Harvey was taken into custody without incident. He faces up to $50,000 in fines or 1 to 20 years in prison. A Chambers County woman was hospitalized for 5 days and received 23 stitches after being attacked by 3 dogs in Hughley last Friday. The dog's owner, Elizabeth Jackson, was arrested in a separate incident, and charges are expected in connection with the attack. The dogs have since been euthanized. The Columbus Convention and Trade Center held a public meeting to discuss a master plan focusing on parking, green space, and a hotel. Community members voiced their concerns and ideas, with next week's City Council meeting set to allow community feedback on the proposal. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
For the remainder of this afternoon, we are looking at breezy and gusty conditions and cooler, 64 degrees after that strong system swept through this morning. Tonight, we're going to drop down into the 30s. So chilly weather is returning from our system and a high of 60 Thursday, but lots of sun. We're going to see some improvements for Friday with a high of 70 after waking up with chilly temperatures and tracking another storm system. Yes, coming up this weekend. You can trust the WRL weather team. We're on your side with the latest weather updates.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MOVE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right? It's comfortable. So how's civilian life treating you? It's fine. When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because it felt like a failure. And then I realized, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine. But if you're not, it's okay. Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. VA disability compensation is a monthly tax-free payment to veterans who got sick or injured in the military and to veterans whose service worsened an existing condition. You may qualify for VA disability compensation for physical and mental health conditions that developed or worsened due to service. Learn more at va.gov/disability.
Again, here's that song again. For the 100th time today, here's that song again. It's gonna be stuck in your head all day. Here's that song again. It will make you cray, cray.
You love your kids enough to watch that TV show a bajillion times. Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat for their age and size. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Lori's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
If you need furniture, you need to shop Gory's Furniture Express. Why? Well, their showroom is full of the finest furniture that money can buy, and their discounts throughout the store during Gory's Madness of March sale. Plus, they have their basketball goals set up inside where you can shoot for up to an additional 15% off, and that's only at Gory's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
Catch the Paul Feinbaum Show, 3 to 7 on SportsVisions 92.1. Now back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. Here's three-time Georgia Bulldog SEC champion and 1980 national champion DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Behringer. Man, I tell you what a treat as always to get Sam Crenshaw, a guy who is as accomplished as he is in the business. Thrift. I mean, I'm talking about radio, television. This guy MCs the biggest events from coast to coast. And again, yet still humble enough to understand, of course, share with the kids and our listeners, again, on this show. This is a great thing. And it was a big for him to acknowledge the fact that, a lot of assignments early on in his career, it wasn't even about money. It was just about doing what you wanted to do. And, we talk about it all the time. It's not like we don't love what we do. We love sports. We love calling sports. We love talking about sports. And it's a great, great thing. I mean, it's fortunate. I pitch myself to think that, you do have made a career in this business. And it's knowing how many people hate what they do. So, some people listening to us right now that are going on their way to work that absolutely can, if they didn't have to do it, if they didn't have to support their family, they didn't have to feed their family, would put a roof over their head, they would not go.
Exactly right, DJ. So we'll see. I'm excited about what's going to happen, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, man, look, again, having the opportunity to talk with Sam and again, you're talking to a master. Again, you're talking to a guy with a PhD in broadcast. Man. And I like you having the opportunity to, to talk about all the games that you were able to broadcast and again, and pace yourself. And, you get little nuggets as to how to manage those opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. And he's going to be calling 8 games in 4 days. I mean, it's a lot. And I really want to harp on the information part because that, one of the gripes, I guess, if we had some, was that, one team got a little bit more coverage or was talked about a little bit more than the other team. And a lot of that to do with the information that we were given in the game. If you give us more information, that's more stuff we can talk about. Obviously, we're going to talk about your team a little bit more. DJ, we had close to 20 teams in those Final Fours and championship. I'm supposed to know 20 teams on top of the 20 teams that are here. I mean, I did my research. I've been doing that inside the GIAA show, so I had knowledge of them, but not like I'm boots on the ground covering the freaking team all year long. I need help. And how hard is it as a coach to write a little summary about your team because it's going to be talked about? So that's why I was saying with him, because I know GBB, they probably require all the coaches, and then they got to have phone conferences.
Yes.
That's another thing. It'd be like pulling teeth sometime with coaches. And that's something I'm going to try to emphasize maybe for next year, that getting to know the coaches before the game. I love going up, during warm-ups, but they're so focused on the game and preparation, you can't really have a conversation with them. So it's a quick, hey, how you doing, coach? I'm calling your game. Great season, blah, blah, blah. I want to get to know them because it makes it more personal when I'm talking about their team. But again, I'm learning, and so is it the GIAA, but they did such a great job, and we at the GIAA.tv are going to keep adding more and more things. I'm excited about it.
And this is a horse of a different color, but it also is, it'll go over in good spirit and in kindness with regards to what you guys do. You do a great job. You have all of these media days for these different sports and whatnot. You might want to think about, having a little page, a little sheet, a little one-sheeter for the coaches to fill out, at least to give you a number or a numerical roster, and then whatever other questions that you have, because you have those guys, those that do show up. And again, you get better than 80% most of the time.
Yeah.
But at least that's something for you to start off of, whether it's a roster, whether it's a kid who has, is looking at colleges or colleges that are looking at him. Just get you some little nuggets, use to take advantage of those media days, man. Because I've been to your baseball media day. I've been to your basketball media day.
Yeah.
I know that we've got, of course, the great job that Jeff Battle they do with the football media days, but you got the Percelli and the Brookstone media days that you do in football. Yeah, go ahead and use that. Now, again, at the end of the season, that stuff probably needs to be updated, and you can handle that. But starting off, at least from a roster standpoint, at least from a depth chart standpoint, maybe you don't need the whole roster. Maybe you need the depth chart, the top three or top two positions at each, the top two, players at each position. That'll give you something, to start out with without having to chase these guys down week after week after week after week.
Exactly right, DJ. And that's the biggest thing that is like, especially right now, which we're going to be able to get a lot of these rosters at media day. The problem is for soccer, the season already started. So we're kind of behind the 8 ball because we were finishing up basketball. So we're scrambling for rosters. Max Preps is never up to date. And then that is 30 different coaches because you got a girls and a boys coach for each school. I'm having to go message or reach out to the AD. The AD's got to go to the coach. It's like a chain of communication that takes a long time to get what you need.
Yeah.
So that is why I'm with you on utilizing those media days. And Richard did a great job. We made that little packet for baseball. We were able to get all the rosters, which is why we're doing baseball broadcasts with such ease, because we got all this information. The coaches were eager to give us that because they weren't working against us. And I'm not saying other coaches don't, but when we ask you for information, it will be talked about. I promise. It is not like you're just doing this for no reason. It is going to be out there for the public to get to know your kids and your program.
I know we always talk about giving back and servant leadership, thrift, and making sharing our information with everybody. But this is something else for us to think about as well as we have these platforms with these microphones, as you do on your shows and my show. And this is just something that, again, I just thought about it just right now. Is that there's a lot of people, we always talk about there's a lot of ways to get involved in the sports program without playing. Why don't we start, of course, advocating the fact that, some of the interns, some of the students being a part of the coaches' communication staffs, and, so that they can, be responsible for actually, and even in high school, working on opportunities, because if they do go off to college and they've worked with the football team, they work with the baseball team, they work with the soccer team or whatever, but they've had a relationship where they're supposed to, or they're the ones that update the Max Prep, or they're the ones that get the rosters to us. At least there's a student or several students that's working in that capacity without the stress. Because, again, we know in Muskogee County alone, these coaches have their hands full.
Yeah.
And, again, and I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They don't have time to update and all the rosters. And, let us start it. Maybe we started in our talks as we speak to the kids, as we go to the air, talk about the opportunities for these young people, because they just need to be led there. And, again, who knows? The coaches, I'm sure that if they had somebody capable of updating their rosters, updating Max Prep, they would allow it.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think that is a good idea, and it gets kids involved. We just had one of the SIDs for Georgia on just a few weeks ago. And remember what he talked about? That everybody wants to go cover football, but I'm trying to give opportunities to cover in the golf, the basketball, the tennis, because then it turns into other opportunities. So if they're going to go to college and do something like this, why not go ahead and get experience with it right now?
Yes.
Doing sports information stuff. I would have loved that if I was a young man in high school, even while playing sports, I love stats. I love working with information about the teams. I would have loved to be able to learn stuff like that. I know there's probably students out there that want to get involved in. DJ, I'd like to involve them in the broadcast part of running a camera, keeping stats. I mean, we're at their campus. They can be a part of other ways to be involved with sports other than just playing on the field or court.
But it goes all the way back to what Sam was saying. The kids don't understand that they have to do things sometimes that are going to benefit them, even without being paid. Yeah. Now, again, we're in a new date. We're in a new age.
That's the first thing they ask.
Yeah.
I never asked it.
I never either. I
17 years old. No. I just want an opportunity.
Look, man, I started again after my career in, of course, professional ball, and so I mean, in the private sector, I started, really hardcore media, and so I had a lot of gigs that I didn't get paid for. So it didn't have to be as a kid. If you're trying to do this in a professional manner and on a certain level, you got to do what you got to do. You got to get those reps in, and those reps also, they mean taking assignments and doing games. I can remember tons of games that we called and absolutely made no money.
Yeah.
But the experience that I gained, the repetitions that I gained, knowing how, of course, as a defensive back, as a quarterback, how important it was for me to go out and practice each and every day and get those reps so that I could perform at a high level in those games. It was the same way with calling ball games and doing shows. I didn't just wake up like this.
Yeah.
It didn't just roll off my tongue. It took practice, and I'm still working at it. No matter who you are, you got to continue to get better, and that's the truth.
Yeah, no doubt about it, DJ. And that's the part. That's why I asked Sam about the repetition, taking every opportunity you can to call as many games as you can. I never turn my nose up if any opportunity. If I can make it work, I want to be able to be there. I want to be able to say I was involved. And it's a learning experience every single time we walk out, DJ. So I 100% agree with you. And I hope that's something we can continue to work on here in our area.
Absolutely. Want to say good morning to everybody out there. It's hump day. It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, man. Well, we're over halfway through the week now, especially with this show, moving the way it's moving, man. Again, man, what a tremendous weekend. What a tremendous couple of first days of the week, and still more opportunities to do even more. Got a message from called Kelly Ellison. Of course, I know we thought we were going to be able to get her on, but she is under the weather right now. And again, we were going to be able to, we were going to, chat with her. We wanted to give her a professional and an honest send-off as we best can, as the best way we could as a SportsVisions nation, because this is just an incredible opportunity. Hopefully she's getting herself back together, but again, this is a part of it. She's going to war. She's not feeling well, but she's still gonna, you probably won't even notice her. She's gonna be on top of her game tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And but I just wanted her to know that we loved her and her team, and we are going to be behind her 100%. Those of us who are not going to go down to Macon to cheer her on, and I know there's going to be a nice caravan that's going to go, but you can catch the game tomorrow. That's Thursday at 1 o'clock on GPB. All right, we'll take a break. Let you know that you're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2 SportsVision 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
About yourself, you're one of our flawless. Ooh, you a sexy lady, but you walk around here like you wanna be someone else. Ooh, whoa. I know that you don't know it, but you're fine, so fine, fine, so fine.
This is the SportsVisions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
SportsVisions 92.1.
Start your engines.
I'm 8th generation watermelon farmer and NASCAR driver Ross Chastain. And one thing's for sure, racing with professional drivers requires me to use my melon. So if you've had a drink after a long day at work or celebrated a little too much, always surrender those keys to a sober designated driver. Because you should never mix drinking with any kind of driving, and that's using your melon.
A message from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MOVE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander Shahara trial attorneys. Paid active dramatization. Past results and not guaranteed future results in each case.
Me and Top Dog's walking through the airport. They're trying to speed the line up. So you know how they bring out the dogs to sniff people while they walk past? Well, that's what happened. But the dog must have known that Top Dog was a real dog too. Because when he sniffed him, he bit him. Want to know what Top Dog did? He started barking. Everybody was running over, screaming, "That's a real accident. You better call Top Dog. Top Dog Law." Top Dog still barking, letting everybody know he about to get top dollar. He letting everybody know. Seriously though, if you ever get into an accident, you want money, right? You want top dollar, right? You get into an accident, you call the dog. Top Dog Law.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases. If it's local, it's on the SportsVisions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Behringer. Big shout out to Sam Crenshaw. Of course, he's our guy. He's going to be on the call tomorrow on Georgia Public Television, calling the Hardaway Hawks and the Murray County game. That's with Coach Kim Ellerson. Of course, we had, I just did this big splash and telling you how, she's under the weather. But guess what? You know why she's a champion? You know why she's in the state championship game? Because she's on the phone with us right now. Welcome, Coach Ellerson. How are you?
Hello, thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for answering the call. You didn't have to, and it's the day before your championship game. You're not feeling well. You got a lot going on, Coach, and you still answered the bell. That's awesome. The sign of a champion in my mind.
Well, thank you. That's what it's all about, showing up even when it's tough.
Absolutely. Listen, I just wanted to let you know that we love you. We respect your program, the job that you do with those young ladies. We will be behind you 100%. And we just, on behalf of the Sports Visions Nation, we wanted to give you a good send-off as best we could. I didn't know if they were going to do anything at the school as far as a parade in the halls and all of those things that people do. But one thing that I definitely wanted to do with Thrift is to send you off in a mighty fine way, in a positive way, to let you know that we will have not just the city, we will have the whole market behind you.
That's awesome. Thank you. We really appreciate you all.
So, Coach, obviously the game is tomorrow at 1:00, and there's not a whole lot left that you can do. But what will you do? What can you do?
So we have a pretty good amount of time to prepare. So early on, we just focused on ourselves, and the last couple of days we've just been kind of going over what they do, getting prepared, and just making sure that we're ready for defensively and offensively for whatever the other team does.
Kelly, your team has looked disciplined. They've looked determined. They've looked focused. you don't play any games. You won by double digits this entire playoff run. It's one of the most dominant playoff runs I've seen. You still got a game to go. But what is it with this group of girls that you've seen from the beginning of the season that this was going to be special, and they didn't allow last year losing in the state championship game to find them to come back out and be back in it again?
So this group is really special. Like I said, this senior group, they've been with me since they're freshmen, and they've stayed together. They stayed supporting each other. And actually this year we started off a little rough. We lost Janiyah Hardy to the ACL. And also Lanaya Meeks from last year, and they were two of our best defenders.
Right.
After losing them, we've had to fill in spots and we had to figure things out. And two of my sophomores stepped up, and we finally figured out our rotation. We figured out what works best for us defensively. And, with us making it to the state championship last year and not finishing as runner-up, I can tell they're much more determined in this playoff run. Like, for instance, against Josie, it was a pretty tight game throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And that last quarter, I talked to the girls. I said, hey, what do y'all want to do? Do we want to stick with this man-to-man? Do we want to try a zone? And they were like, no, Coach, we got you. We're going to stick with this man. And so even for them to say that just shows how determined they are, how they're focused totally. Their mind is in a totally different space right now. And I'm just very proud of all of them.
If you just joined us, we have with us, of course, Kelly Ellison, the head coach of the girls basketball team of the Hardaway Hawks, and they're going down to try to bring back that ring, and of course, Class 2 AA in the GHSA. And again, when you talk about what you're facing, again, for the folks that don't have any idea what's a game day operation or a game day itinerary for you, how do you approach getting ready to play a 1 o'clock game tomorrow? You guys are traveling tonight? Are you traveling in the morning? How you guys going to get prepared for that?
So it's definitely different playing at 1 o'clock p.m. Because we rarely do that. Maybe on a Saturday we might play that early, but on a school day it's definitely different. We want to try to keep it still as normal as possible. So the girls will still wake up like normal for school. So even though thankfully we have a virtual day, so teachers and students can come out and support us. We're still going to get up. We're going to have shoot around like 9 o'clock. They're going to eat a pregame, and then we'll get on the road to head to Macon. Good deal. Man, I'm excited for you. And I tell you, man, again, for those folks that are not going to be able to make it down there, GPB TV, Sam Crenshaw, a good friend of ours we had on earlier, Kelly, he was very, very complimentary of you. He said he had opportunity to talk to you, and I know that you're looking forward to not only your young ladies performing well tomorrow, but you're looking for a great crowd to come down and support the Hardaway Hawks. Oh, definitely. And we have a huge following for this year. Last year we had one fan bus. This year we have two. And we have a lot of teachers coming. Like I said, the virtual day is definitely going to help. And I think, last year it was more of a shock. Like, we're here. What is it like? And so this year, like I said, we're more prepared and really excited to bring this thing back to Columbus.
I got to ask you one more question about those seniors and A.K. Shelton and Adasia Burrell, Michaela Johnson, Brianna Boynton, Player of the Year, but the seniors, Kelly, and now this being the last ride to a game. What is it? What have they meant to you? What have they meant to Hardaway? I say they go down as the greatest group of seniors in Hardaway Hawks history. What is your opinion of these three girls?
Oh, definitely. They're amazing. And, I was reflecting on it the other day, just great young ladies, never any discipline problems. They're great in the classroom, straight A students, dual enrollment, IB, just, you can say it all. And they since their freshman year, they came in, more focused than any other group I've ever seen. And I've just always been able to depend on them to do the mature thing. Sometimes after school, I might have a quick meeting or something like that. They're getting practice started. I don't have to wait or worry about what they're doing. So just for them to have that maturity and just to be great young ladies, that makes my job so much easier. And then, of course, on the basketball court, they're very smart, and I've been able to teach them and pour into them like everything I have, and they take it. And so I just really appreciate them.
Well, Coach Ellison, we certainly appreciate you saying hello to everybody this morning. And again, you're going to pull your best version of that Michael Jordan flu game. You're going to perform even not at your best, but I know that you're going to do a great job. And hey, look, good luck, and we'll be rooting for you.
Yes, ma'am. Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much.
Have a great rest of your day. All right. That's Kelly Ellison, man. I tell you what, that's what winners do.
Yeah, that is 100% what professional winners do, and we'll be cheering for her and her Lady Hawks. They're going to be bringing it home after Thursday.
Speaking of professional, we got a guy that's been writing, a sports writer in particular, for a long, long time. He's got a little comedian in him too, but he's a historian in every sense of the word. Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer Mark Clark will be with us next. You're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
And I see the way I breathe you in. It's the texture of your skin.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander Shahara trial attorneys. Paid active dramatization. Past results and not guaranteed future results in each case.
Me and Top Dogs walking through the airport. They trying to speed the line up. So you know how they bring out the dogs to sniff people while they walk past? Well, that's what happened. But the dog must have known that Top Dog was a real dog too. Because when he sniffed him, he bit him. Want to know what Top Dog did? He started barking. Everybody was running over, screaming, "That's a real accident. You better call Top Dog. Top Dog Law." Top Dog still barking, letting everybody know he about to get top dollar. He letting everybody know. Seriously though, if you ever get into an accident, you want money, right? You want top dollar, right? You get into an accident, you call the dog. Top Dog Law.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
If you need furniture, you need to shop Gory's Furniture Express. Why? Well, their showroom is full of the finest furniture that money can buy, and their discounts throughout the store during Gory's Madness of March sale. Plus, they have their basketball goals set up inside where you can shoot for up to an additional 15% off, and that's only at Gory's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. Your home for the Dan Patrick Show, 9 to 12 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Behringer. Humongous shout out to Kelly Ellison, Coach Kelly Ellison with the Hardaway Hawks. She's a little under the weather, but she has a task to do tomorrow. And luckily, unfortunately for her today, she has a day to kind of get herself together for the big game tomorrow. But I certainly expect her to be in full force and as she chases that championship ring, Thrift.
No doubt about it. And she's got a great program at determined girls, and they are ready to take on a really good Murray County team. They only got one loss, but I just have that feeling this is the year for Hardaway Lady Hawks.
And for those that not making the trip down tomorrow, you can catch that game on Georgia Public Television, and that's at 1 o'clock tip. and they'll be playing Murray County. Hey, without further ado, I want to introduce you to a guy that's in the Central Red Devils Hall of Fame, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame, and he's also one of the brightest young writers that this community has seen in quite some time. Say hello to, of course, Phoenix City's own Mark Clark. How are you, man?
All right, but DJ, I'm not in the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame yet.
Well, nobody didn't know that until you know, I mean, you could have just played that off there. I was just trying to give you a little bit more gravy, man. Come on. Work with me, Marcus. How you doing this morning?
All right, but if you remember the last time you tried to interview me, it was on radio up at Smith Station one night, and all the equipment went out.
Yeah. I think you probably had something to do with that, but, you know, because you were shy then. You know, you weren't even giving interviews back then.
That's true. I don't like being on that side.
I got you. So how are you, Mark? Obviously, you know, you're sitting here with, you know, just tons of information. You've written about some of the greatest athletes that have come out of not just this city, but, you know, this region. You've had the front row seat. And matter of fact, Thrift and I were talking a little earlier. What was that record that you had of over 300 and some odd games that you never missed up for the Central Red Devils?
That was like 341 or 42 games that I went through without missing a Friday night with the Red Devils.
And that was a football game? All the football games. Goodness gracious. Woo, man.
Unbelievable.
That is definitely an achievement.
But I would say it's closer to 450, 500 games I've seen in my lifetime or better.
So if we wanted to know, in which we're going to ask you, because obviously you know and you've been there, you got your boots on the ground, who's the greatest football player in the history of the Central Red Devils?
Well, that's hard to, you know, are you talking about pre-modern age or are you talking about modern age?
All time. If you can't break it, if you can't give me an all-time great, then you could break it up and give me about 2 or 3 different eras.
Well, it goes back to Leroy Prost back in the 40s, and he's in the Hall of Fame now.
Okay.
And then you've got, you know, 2 kids that played together that it's hard to separate them when you say James Bo Pete Joseph and Marco Battle.
Right.
Those are 2 of the best I've ever seen.
Unbelievable. Mark, first of all, why don't we do this for the folks that know you, and I know a hell of a lot of folks listening right now do know you, but we got some youngsters out there that might not necessarily have been fortunate enough to read any of your work or hear about any of the great feats that you had or all the great dunks you had in those games when you were on the courts over there. But no, let's do this. Let's take them through. Let's go back down memory lane and walk them through the progressions as you grew up in this community and became the great writer and the great person that you've become here in Columbus, Phoenix City.
You know, we were talking last night. I bounced back and forth between Eufaula, Baker Hill, and Phoenix City until I was about 9 years old, and then I was a permanent resident of Phoenix City from then on.
Yeah.
Went to Girard Elementary and then to Central Junior High, then to Central High School. I started writing at 15 years old for the Bulldog Bark down at South Girard.
Okay.
And thought I was doing well enough that I went to the Citizen and talked to Jane Gillette and asked her if I could start writing for them. And she gave me an opportunity. And the first story I wrote, I thought I'd done a real good job. I'd written a whole page, you know, handwritten, and turned it in. It turned out to be like about 2 inches in the newspaper. And she told me I needed to read other people's stuff to see what to add. And a couple of years later, 1977, when 75 when CVCC came in, she said she was going to give me a beat, and I didn't even know what a beat was. But I wound up covering the Chattahoochee Valley Pirates basketball team with Doug Key, and that was interesting just to learn, you know, how to cover them.
Right.
And I had to write a story about them every week, so it got me where I had to do a little investigating, started asking more questions.
Right.
But I've just continued from there. I've written for the Citizen for the last 52 years, written some for the Ledger Enquirer, written for state newspapers in Alabama. whoever would put up the money, I guess, show me the money and I'd try and write the story.
Mark, who's been some of your mentors growing up and people that have helped you along the way and grow as a writer?
Well, Jane Gillette was the first one, and my good friend Tommy Hicks is down in Mobile now. He helped me a lot. And if you go from there, it'd be like Paul Cox, who was at the Opelika Auburn News at the time, and Millard Grimes. They all helped me.
Mark Clark is with us right now. He's, of course, writing 52 years. He's just made mention of writing here, and not necessarily just about sports. He has written about a lot of different things, but we love him for what he's been able to contribute from a sports standpoint. Mark, we had a conversation the other day, and we were talking about even when they were making selections on the All by City, when you were writing, did some stuff for the Ledger and the Players of the Year and all the arguments. Man, take us back backstage in the back room when you guys had some of these heated conversations.
Well, I think the one I was mentioning to you last night most was Murphy Jenkins got voted for Coach of the Year one year, and the logic behind it was Murphy had done such a great job with Baker because he didn't have any decent players on the team. I used that argument against him later on when we selected the 5 people, and they came down to a point guard, and they were saying, well, we got to put somebody from Murphy's team on it. And I said, you can't. You just told me that he was the reason they won. So I suggested Marco Battle at the time.
Right.
And if you remember, Marco was a football player, he was a basketball player, and he was a baseball player.
Yes.
And he was Bi-City Player of the Year for all 3 sports and for the overall that year.
Right.
So he was excellent. So how could you leave him out of the group?
That's right. That's right. Mark, you were inducted into the Phoenix City, the Central Red Devil Hall of Fame recently. And, again, when you, as a sports writer and as a guy who, didn't play the game, but you went in based on your ability to write about the game, what went through your head? What were your thoughts?
It was it was a big surprise because they kept it hid from me because, I was on the committee that was helping select these people to go in.
Yeah.
And knew nothing about it. And I'm sitting in the back of the room with my wife and kids, and all of a sudden they announced my name. And I walked down, and I got to face all those other guys that had been put into the Hall of Fame. And I'm looking at them, and I said, I got stories on every one of y'all. Ed King, they tried to make him a fullback one time, and the other team found out that if you hit Ed low, he'd fall down. So
you hit most people low, he'd fall down.
Yeah, you didn't want to be under him when he fell down. That's
right. That's right. That's right.
And Marco Battle, when he was in the 7th and 8th grade, he was a quarterback.
Yes,
he wasn't a running back.
Mm-hmm.
And I accused Ron Nelson of only giving 3 plays when Bo Peep got on the field. That was Bo Peep left, Bo Peep right, and Bo Peep up the middle.
That's right.
But, it worked for them. They went undefeated one year. They went 9-0-1. Ron's first year there with Marco and Carlton Jenkins and Bo Peep. And that was just a good group of kids that went on to Central and produced there.
I got to ask about Central and Glenwood. They just played for the first time ever. I saw you there, Mark, covering that game. What do you think that meant for the community, seeing those 2 schools, and for you covering and being around these 2 schools that never face off, but both have had great baseball programs? Schools always talk trash to each other to finally play. Can you put into words what that meant to the community of Phoenix City?
I think that was a big deal. Unfortunately, they're just playing one time this year.
Right.
They probably just play one time every year from now on because they're not in the same regions. But Tripp, it was kind of a subdued situation there that night. The whole ballpark was quiet. They cheered for their teams, but there wasn't a lot of trash talking. In fact, the kids like you'd see somebody steal a base and he'd pop up, and the other kid from the other team would shake his hand and pat him on the back, said he did a good play. I know there was a play where McCrane got thrown out at first, and I thought he was going to attack the pitcher, and he walked over to him and told him he made a great play on it. And it was just good to see that these kids been playing together from little league on up, and they split when they get to high school. And everybody says, well, Glenwood won 8-4. Well, let's go back and look at it. Central was ahead 4-3. That game went back and forth it just got out of hand in the seventh inning. Central just ran out of pitching that night. You had a 1 out and a 2-strike count on McCrane, and they hung the pitch over the plate, and he sent it to the Sonic parking lot across the street from the stadium. And then the Cam, what's that kid's last name? Lawrence?
Yeah, Cal Lawrence.
Lord, that home run, that had to land down in the tennis courts. That was, the last runs of the game. It was a lot of fun to watch and to listen to the two coaches afterwards, complimenting each other. And talking about how good it was that they finally got to play.
The legendary Mark Clark, of course, longtime writer for, of course, here in the Chattahoochee Valley. And Mark, I'm going to do this. I hadn't done this before, but I know that you can pull it off, or you can help me pull it off. When I mention a name, you give me a couple of paragraphs as best you know these folks. And again, there'll be people that you've written about, players and or coaches. First name I'm going to give you, Wayne Trawick.
Greatest coach I've ever seen. Great with kids, great with the parents, great with the community, and bringing that first state championship in 1993. That was probably the greatest thing that he ever achieved for us. But if you go back, you remember when he came in, he had to deal with tragedy to begin with, because the best running back and player on the team, Mark Cook, had died in a car wreck.
Wow!
Just before he got there, so he had to get the team together. And we had played Auburn several years and just gotten drilled by them. In the first game, it was 0-0, and Central felt like they won.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, Wayne had a great first year, and that was coming after a 2-8 season under Pete Jenkins the year before. I couldn't ask for a greater friend than Wayne Trawick.
The next guy is a player, Mike Jones.
Mike Jones was the best basketball player probably to ever play at the center position. I'm not going to say he's the greatest player at Central High School, because that distinction belongs to Eddie Adams in my book.
Bobby Wright.
Bobby Wright. He's a character. Get you in more trouble than anybody I know of.
That's my guy. Yeah. We got in some trouble together.
Yeah. I'm sitting at the table, and he puts his water bottle down at the table, and he turns around to make a point to his team, and he slapped the water bottle off the table into the official running down the court. And it's a guy that doesn't like Bobby.
Okay.
But he looks straight at me. He doesn't like me either, because he thinks I just threw the water bottle at him.
Yeah. Well, you
And
can't.
Bobby,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I would just say you can't say Bobby Wright without saying Carolyn Wright, his wife.
Oh, love her. I always like coaches that you can hug after a game.
Yeah.
And from the day Carolyn got there to the day she left, she was just a great person.
All right. This is a name that's going to come from the other school over there, that Glenwood's own Darrell Wills.
Man, the greatest high school baseball player at Glenwood ever. Also, player of the year nationally as a junior. Goes to Auburn. Doesn't know whether he wants to play baseball or football. He plays both. He starts at both as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. He's
the punter. He's the defensive back on football, and he goes across, plays center field for the baseball team. There's been a lot of talented kids come through, but none had more raw talent than him.
Even Jeremiah Castile.
Jeremiah Castile, I love him to death. That's a funny story for me. Is I covered Alabama, and he had gotten an interception against Auburn, and I was standing kind of behind him, trying to get out of the way of the other writers because I'd wait till the end, and I really wasn't writing down anything. And Jeremiah just happened to glance over his shoulder and see I was there. He said, "Mark, give me your pad." So I handed him my pad, and he said, "Give me your pen." I gave him my pen. He flipped a few pages, wrote something down, closed it, and handed it back to me. I looked at it, and I smiled, and I said, "Thanks." And all the other sports writers got mad at me. Thought I had something that they didn't have, and I did. I had an autograph from my little brother.
Jabria Lindsay.
Jabria Lindsay. Boy, it's a long time ago to me. Last week, wasn't it?
Thrift, you should have seen the look that Thrift looked at me. He's like, "What? What?" When you said,
"Who's Jabria Lindsay?" He doesn't know Jabria Lindsay.
Oh, he knows her.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah. Since she was in the 7th grade, she's been on that varsity, and she's played well. She gives her heart every time she goes out there. She makes some wild shots sometimes, but it's at full speed when she's doing it, and she's trying to avoid the defense.
Thrift, you got a couple of names for Mark?
Yeah, Ron Nelson.
Ron Nelson. In fact, he just texted me a few minutes ago, wanting to know if I knew who had gotten the Wayne Trawick Awards for the Central High Sports Hall of Fame, and I told him who they were. I told DJ last night that I would give y'all the first rundown of who's made the Central High Sports Hall of Fame this year.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news, Mark. We got to go right into it. You got to go right into it.
All right. Well, in the 70s, it's going to be Mark Clement and Eddie Lowe. In the 80s, we're talking about, now these are just the football ones, okay?
Okay.
Van Treese Davis and Tommy Robinson. The 90s, it's Shedrick Dixon and Eddie Hoskins. The 2000 to 2009, that's Brandon Averett and Cordero Howard. 2010 to 2020 is Deion Hill and Javion Cohen.
Oh, wow.
And then when you get into the all sports categories in the 70s, we're inducting Josie Merriweather.
Yeah.
In the 80s, it's Calvin Brooks and track. The 90s, it's going to be Michael Chadwick.
Mike Chadwick. Go Dogs.
Yes. In 2000, 2009 is Brian Woodall.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian won't make it to the Hall of Fame ceremony, I don't think, because he's in Taiwan pitching right now. 2010 to 2020 is Tony Morales in wrestling. And the first 2 women will go into the Hall of Fame this year. From the 70s, Mitzi Minor, and from the 2000s, it'll be Haley Wilson. And if you want to know the Wayne Trawick Award winners, it's going to be Coach Charles Fortune and Coach Gary Soha. And they don't know yet. Unless they're listening to your show this morning.
Exactly.
Well, we're excited about that, Mark. I do got to ask, in this era of Central football that's made several state championship, have 2 of them, in the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, is this one of the greatest runs in Central history, or do you have other eras you would put up there with the run that they've been on here in 7-8?
From the middle 80s to the middle 90s was a great run, but this is the best. We've gone from Wayne Trawick took Central from playing a totally by-city schedule. I don't know, DJ's old enough probably to remember that you could play 8 games in the by-city without leaving. Then you just played 2 area games on the Alabama side. So we played just all the Columbus schools. Well, Wayne Trawick took us into a statewide type situation where we were playing the Enterprises and the Dothans and such. Well, Jamie Dubose comes along and starts talking about state championships and takes us to a higher level on the states. And then Coach Nix comes in, and all of a sudden we're a national program. So it's been a good run. There's been a lot of changes. A lot of kids want to go to Central. A lot of kids want to stay at Central. It's good to see that every year you're no longer rebuilding, you're reloading. Next year, you always worry about the future, but there's some good kids coming next year.
Mark Clark is our guest here on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Mark, we had been talking the past couple of days or so, in particularly Central boys and girls basketball. Most recently, the new coach, Coach Burkett, the boys coach, and Coach Williams, the women's coach, the girls coach. They've had an opportunity to do something that hadn't been done with all the great basketball players, and I could run off a gang of them. They've never had a state championship in basketball. Why do you think so?
Just can't get over the hump. The closest I would say they came was when they played Grissom High School in the 90s. Bobby Wright's team had a 7-point lead with 2 minutes to go in the game, and then Marvin Stone decided to just take off. Marvin went to Kentucky and some other schools, but he was just too much to handle when he got going. And Coach Burkett has done a wonderful job. He came in the first year and he just said, "I got 4 freshmen, and they're going to start." And those freshmen just became seniors this year, and they did a great last 3 years. They've been to the championship or the semifinals, and Hoover's gotten them each time. If they could have gotten past Hoover, it would have been a different story. We might have had 3 state championships.
Mark, for the folks that don't know you, and there's only probably a couple that's been hiding up on a rock that don't know you, why don't you let everybody know what you're doing, who you're writing for, what are your interests, and where they can find you a little bit later on after working hours.
I write for the Citizen every week. Have, like I said, for 52 years. Still doing it, retired from Ross County Water Authority. I actually retired twice, left the first time, and they called me back 6 years later, wanting me to come back, so I did. And I stayed there for 6 more years and retired again, and just kept writing the whole time. If you want to see it every Thursday in the newspaper, you'll find something I've written, whether it's a history column or a news story, or mostly in the sports section. And if you want to know what my interests are, the Kansas City Royals.
Kansas City Royals.
Especially with George Brett. That was my favorite player. And I collected all his baseball cards. I still collect a little bit, but not very much.
Well, I tell you, Mark, I've enjoyed getting to know more about you. But one thing that intrigues me about you is that the fact that when you went to work 52 years ago for Phoenix Citizens, they gave you that, that stock, man, and you held on to it, and now you're independently wealthy. You probably retire whenever you get ready. I don't get it. Why you just keep writing for the love of the game?
That you got to. I just hope I keep the fire inside me. Sometimes there are weeks that I have weak stories that are really bad. And there's sometimes that I get inspired to do something really good. Last week on the front page of the Citizen, there was a story about John Lee Riddle, whose father gave him a Central sweater in the 1950s, I think it was 54, and had it put his baseball patch on it with the district and bi-city championship and a star on his shoulder for the being captain, and it went missing sometime around 1960.
Wow.
Well, would you believe that last Christmas, just before Christmas, Miss Ginger Temple was going through a thrift store and came across this sweater. And she said, that's the year I graduated, and I know somebody that was on the baseball team. Let me call him. He might can tell me whose sweater this is. And when she called John Lee, he said, that's mine. And they let me do the story on it. It was a nice story. It's kind of like reunited, and it feels so good.
Oh yeah. Well, Mark, we certainly appreciate you coming on and sharing with the Sports Visions Nation, man. And I tell you what, you have a wonderful rest of your day, buddy.
All right. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, Thrift.
Thanks,
All
Mark.
right. That's the great Mark Clark.
That's a legend.
From the Phoenix Citizens, man. I tell you, 52 years writing.
Yeah.
About sports primarily.
And he puts a lot of those articles on his Facebook page, so I get to see them every single time Central does something good, or anybody in the Phoenix City area. So love keeping up with it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. You are watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. A Talbot County man, 52-year-old William Harvey, was arrested on felony arson charges after allegedly setting a wildfire on March 2nd. The fire, which destroyed 2 buildings, was contained, and Harvey was taken into custody without incident. He faces up to $50,000 in fines or 1 to 20 years in prison. A Chambers County woman was hospitalized for 5 days and received 23 stitches after being attacked by 3 dogs in Hughley last Friday. The dog's owner, Elizabeth Jackson, was arrested in a separate incident, and charges are expected in connection with the attack. The dogs have since been euthanized. The Columbus Convention and Trade Center held a public meeting to discuss a master plan focusing on parking, green space, and a hotel. Community members voiced their concerns and ideas, with next week's City Council meeting set to allow community feedback on the proposal. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
For the remainder of this afternoon, we are looking at breezy and gusty conditions and cooler, 64 degrees after that strong system swept through this morning. Tonight, we're going to drop down into the 30s, so chilly weather is returning from our system, and a high of 60 Thursday, but lots of sun. We're going to see some improvements for Friday with a high of 70 after waking up with chilly temperatures and tracking another storm system. Yes, coming up this weekend. You can trust the WRL weather team. We're on your side with the latest weather updates.
The Finley firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander Shahara trial attorneys. Paid active dramatization. Past results and not guaranteed future results in each case.
Me and Top Dog's walking through the airport. They're trying to speed the line up. So you know how they bring out the dogs to sniff people while they walk past? Well, that's what happened. But the dog must have known that Top Dog was a real dog too. Because when he sniffed him, he bit him. Want to know what Top Dog did? He started barking. Everybody was running over, screaming, "That's a real accident. You better call Top Dog. Top Dog law." Top Dog still barking, letting everybody know he about to get top dollar. He letting everybody know. Seriously though, if you ever get into an accident, you want money, right? You want top dollar, right? You get into an accident, you call the dog. Top Dog Law.
Did you know you can add renewing your driver's license or ID card to your grocery list? The Georgia Department of Driver Services now offers self-service kiosks at select Kroger and Publix locations. From renewing or replacing to updating your address, the kiosks will issue a temporary paper license, and you'll receive a permanent card in the mail. Skip the line and save time by adding your driver's license renewal to your grocery list today. You'll even get a $5 discount on your order. Visit dds.georgia.gov to learn more.
Covering local and national sports. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show on Sports Visions 92.1. Drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Green Bay Packers. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Behringer. Big shout out to Mark Clark, man. I tell you what, he's a legend. 52 years writing primarily about sports in the Columbus, Phoenix City area, man. He is special.
Yeah, very special, legendary, and you learn every time you talk to him, you learn something new.
All right. Also, congratulations. And we bid a farewell to Kelly Ellerson. She's getting ready to take her Hardaway Hawks basketball team down to Macon, Georgia to compete in the finals against Murray County, and we wish them well. Sam Crenshaw, our longtime buddy who was doing big things in Atlanta in radio, TV, he's going to be on the call 1 o'clock on Georgia Public Television for the Hawks in the in Murray County. And, of course, our guy, Richard Holdridge, we appreciate Rich for all he's done. Hey, there's a new sheriff in town, Thrift, over at the Pacelli Vikings, man. I tell you, over on the land. And, of course, he's a guy that, you know what, this is not his first rodeo. He's a damn good football coach, and he looked like it. Thrift, I walked into the press conference yesterday, and I saw this sharp-dressed guy, you know, clean cut, shook his hand, gave me a good firm handshake. Please welcome to the SportsVisions Morning Show, Coach Smitty Grider. How are you, Coach?
Doing well. How you guys doing this morning?
Great, man. Great. It was glad to meet you yesterday, man. I was impressed. You definitely controlled the room as most successful coaches, they got to take advantage of that first opportunity to meet the media. And this wasn't your first rodeo by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, I don't know if that's a compliment that I'm old or that I did a good job. But yeah, it was a great event. You know, I appreciate you guys coming out. You know, it's like I said yesterday, it's a busy time of year with all the spring sports kicking up, basketball finishing up. You know, you got a lot going on. So, you know, I was really pleasantly surprised to see the number of media that turned up yesterday.
Absolutely. Again, you know, with the success that that program has had over the past several years, man, obviously coming in, the big football coaches, you know, definitely a big ticket when you talk about Pacelli athletics. Now, Coach, why don't we do this for the benefit of the folks that I know on the morning show and the SportsVisions Nation that don't know you, but why don't you just take us back down memory lane, where you came from, who were some of the influences in your life, and of course, some of the great programs that that poured into you to bring you to this point now.
Yeah, I was an assistant at Opelika for 8 years under Spence McCracken. He's a Hall of Fame coach in Alabama, and you know, we really had a successful program there, and learned a lot from Coach about really how to be a football coach, man, how to work, you know, how to treat the kids, all the things that goes into being a coach. And spent 8 years with him. You know, I got my first opportunity as a head coach at a small school in Central Alabama called Central Coosa High School. Stayed there for about a year, and then I went to Beauregard, which is right across the state line in Lee County, and was the head coach there for 8 years and had a really successful time there. And, you know, I got a chance to go home. I'm originally from Montgomery, Alabama, and they started a new school in Montgomery called Park Crossing, and it was really near where I grew up. And so an opportunity to start a new program, and it was a 6A school, and all that kind of stuff was just something that I couldn't pass up. And went down there for 4 years, started that program. You know, we had a semifinal team in 2016. We put a lot of guys in college. It was, you know, we had some very talented kids. You may know some of them. Malik Cunningham, probably the most well-known kid that we had there. Also had a kid by the name of Cam Taylor-Britt that's now playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's a cornerback. He was our quarterback behind Malik. So we had two great quarterbacks there. And, you know, it was a great experience. We had some good times there. Spent a year at Hazel Green in North Alabama, which was way far from my home. And then went to Dothan for 3 years down there and started that program. So I've started two programs from scratch. Thought I was going to get out of coaching, and came back to live in Auburn, and the job at Benjamin Russell came open, and I jumped on it, and it was a great 3 years there. And I've retired in Alabama. So I started looking at opportunities, you know, and whether it be at private school in Alabama or Georgia, or, you know, any schools in Georgia. And this one was one that I'd always been interested in. Very familiar with Pacelli and the program here. Had two guys that had coached here that were on my staff at Beauregard, so knew a lot about it. And, man, I'm excited to be here.
No doubt about it, Coach. I love your energy, love your passion, and I just want to make mention about where you said you're from Montgomery. Where'd you go to high school, and what led you into even wanting to be a coach? That's a big thing we like learning about, because how did that happen? Just happened since, and you know when you were in high school, what happened?
That's a great story. You know, I went to high school at Jeff Davis, and
JD.
Yes, sir. JD Vols. They don't exist anymore. It's now JAG High School. But when I graduated and started college, I was really going to go into accounting. That's what I wanted. That's what my mother wanted me to do anyway. So
right.
Uh, actually, no, she wanted me to be an engineer, but I didn't really want to do all the math required to do that. But in those days in Montgomery, the Parks and Recreation program hired and staffed all of the junior high programs. And the junior high school that I went to was Georgia Washington Junior High. And I started coaching there as a paid coach. I was 19 years old, still going to college, but it was a 20-hour-a-week job. You were called a Parks and Recreation aide, and I was the head 7th grade football coach and the head 9th grade wrestling coach. And that's how I started my career. Stayed there for 13 years, actually, until Coach McCracken got the job at Opelika. And, I just made the jump. I wanted to coach high school at that point. And I told Coach McCracken that, hey, we were a feeder program for Robert E. Lee, where he came from. And so we knew each other. And I said, Coach, look, I'll come up here and work a year for free for you. If you like the job I do, then hire me. If not, hey, no hard feelings. I gave it a shot, and everything worked out. I worked a year for free, and then he hired me to be the secondary coach there after a year being the D-line coach with him. And so that's kind of how I got my start. Learned a lot about how to be a coach, coaching that junior high program. And I was the 7th grade coach all by myself. No help. So I had to learn everything, when we practiced offensive line, all the skill guys went down there and hit the sled with everybody else because I was the only coach, 35 kids. And so, got indoctrinated in how to be a coach, and probably learned more about how to manage a game doing that than I have anywhere else I've been. So it was a great experience for me.
Smitty Grider is the new head football coach for the Pacelli Vikings. And Coach, obviously, when you walked into that facility and you saw those great, the great football setup, the weight room and whatnot, I know you had to lick your chops because not everybody's blessed with all the great facilities.
No, they're not, and that was something that I wasn't sure about. When I came over here and saw the Beck Center and what they've done with this place, and you've got an indoor facility, the turf on the game field, and the stadium set up. It was unexpected that the facilities would be as good as they are. And so that's a big advantage for us. I think, I talked to some of the coaches, we don't miss a day of practice when the heat gets too hot. We can come inside and go in the indoor and get work in. And that's something that's new to me because in Alabama, we don't have the wet bulb rule that you have in Georgia. So, we just dealt with the heat as best we could. But here, you're not even allowed to practice when the heat and humidity's at a certain point. So, having this facility is a great advantage for us. And, I think it's going to help us, attract people to want to be a part of our program.
One thing that impressed me, Coach, right off the rip, and I got to tell you this, is that when I asked you, again, what were going to be your offensive and defensive philosophies, you basically said, hey, look, we're going to throw it all over the yard. You say you got to evaluate what your talent. You say you got to evaluate what you have, but you like to throw it around. And again, when people, I'm an old quarterback, but I get excited. I know that when you spread them out and you throw the ball around, you give kids an opportunity to do what they do and then get the ball into the hands of the best athletes. That's an exciting style of football to watch.
Yeah, we will have an exciting brand of football. I tell the parents usually at the first parent meeting, hey, look, don't go to the concession stand when we're on offense because we're going to have some exciting things happening. And yeah, we like to throw the football. When you can be really good at that, that's a big advantage. Now, we're still going to run the football. We're going to be a physical brand of football, but having the ability to get athletes in space and let them play in space and not have to block people sometimes, and it's an advantage. And it also attracts people to want to play. A lot of times, those skill guys, they don't necessarily want to bust their head against somebody every play, and you give them an opportunity to catch the ball and make plays in space, makes them want to play. And it's helped us the last 10 or 15 years really attract better athletes to be part of our program. We try to make practices, I won't say fun because it's not always fun, but we try to do things at an up-tempo pace and, make it where it's not a lot of standing around and people are working. And, we want people to want to be a part of the program, and we want people to want to come see us play. And So I'm excited here already. You know, I've looked at what we have. We've got some really good skilled players, and we want to add to that and have a really exciting offense.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Coach. And we're excited about the upcoming season. But you officially will start in July. But I know you're still going to be involved in the schools, still planning stuff.
That's what I was kind of alluding to yesterday. Football, you can't wait until summer to start football. You know, really, we're 2 months behind if you want to tell the truth. We really start the next season in January. So I'm going to be here every day working with the kids and working on this program. We got to get a staff in place, and we got to get the off-season program started in what we want to do and start teaching our style of football. So we're gonna hit that pretty quickly.
One thing that I do know, Coach, about the successful coaches that I've been around is that they're going to interview and they're going to do the due diligence and research for the people that have been around the program. And you got some pretty doggone good folks there. And I know he's gone and retired now. But sitting down with Dwight Jones, was that one of those meetings that you wanted to have?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. He's still here. He's working through the end of the year, and that's that's huge. Normally, when I've taken other jobs, the coach was dismissed or whatever. And so, they're not a lot of help. They don't want to help you, and I get it. I mean, that's understandable. But Coach Jones has been great. He wants to help us. He wants to help me. And so that's absolutely somebody that I'm going to lean on for the next couple of months to, understand the program and how the school works and all that. But you're right. There's some really good guys on staff that we want to keep. And, I'm not a guy that comes in and wants a whole new staff. And even, in high school, that's not feasible anyway.
Right.
But, I want people that have been a part of the program and understand the kids. And my whole deal is if a coach can relate to kids and is willing to work, and it's my job as the head coach to teach them what I want them to coach. So that's what we have here. And hopefully we'll keep, if not all, most of the guys that are here as part of the program.
You got another couple of young guys, in particular the AD over there, Kelvin Thomas, who's the basketball coach, just winning a fresh off of a state championship. His first year in, again, just a lot of energy. A young cat, Brian Thomas, another basketball coach over there that assists with the athletic director's duties. Those are a couple of great guys to lean on as well.
Yeah, they've been great. I'm looking forward to working with them. A lot of times, basketball coaches and football coaches don't necessarily get along and share their players, but it's obvious here that's not the case. Coach Thomas has been great. He's encourages his guys to play football, and I'm excited to work with those guys. Both of them were really good in the interview process, and it's refreshing to come work for an AD that's all about the entire program, not just his sport. And, I think it's going to be a great partnership here, not only with him, but Miss Brewster, the principal, and all the administrators here. Everybody's been great. They're excited for a new chapter in Pacelli football. And, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Another guy that's very influential and a guy that gives a lot of support and is also a coach, Roger Beck. What did he mean during this process and seeing him there yesterday at the Beck Center? This guy is opening his door to everyone, and it's awesome to have him a part of the Pacelli family.
Yeah, now that's a resource that not very many people have. And I've known Roger for 10 or 12 years. He actually came over for a year and worked with me at Beauregard.
Oh, wow.
So
Really?
I knew Roger.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I stole him away in 2013, and he worked with us over there my last year at Beauregard. I think he'd be at Beauregard today if I'd have stayed. I'd like to think so, and we'd have all of this,
Yeah.
But I'm glad that he's here. That was one of the major influences in me being interested in this job and having that relationship with him and knowing what he means to not only the football program, but the entire athletic department, the school, how he's committed to it, and the things that he does. You can't put a value on that. He is Pacelli athletics and specifically Pacelli football. So I'm excited to come work with him.
Absolutely. Coach, I know we got to get out of here, but before we go, I know that there's going to be other people that want to meet you up front and personal, but the parents have a meet and greet with you on Tuesday, March 6th at 6 o'clock at the Beck Center. Now, again, I know that this is not open to the community, but don't be surprised if you see quite a few people in there that might not necessarily be your parents. They want to.
That's okay. I want to meet anybody that wants to be involved in our school, our program. That's the people that I need to meet, and I'm excited to do that. I wish we could do it tonight. I'm looking forward to that. That's a chance for me to shake hands and put eyes on the people that matter over here, and them see me and see how I interact, and that's all part of it. And I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. My family will be here; they'll get to meet them as well. Yeah. So that's going to be a great night for us.
Well, Coach, we are excited for you, and again, we will be following you, man. And you know what? You always got a resource here with the SportsVisions morning show. We tell it straight, no chaser, man. So it ain't no funny business here. I mean,
I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate what y'all do. People don't realize how important it is to have a place like for you guys, for us to come promote our program. And that's awesome. It's really special what y'all do, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys too.
All right, good luck to you, Coach. You have a great day, man.
Thanks. All right, you too.
All right, that's the new sheriff in town.
Yeah, man.
Coach Smitty Grider.
He's already hit the ground.
Ground running.
Boots on the ground running.
He's
ready.
You what, I'm looking my kind of guy.
Yeah, me too. That's a football guy.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2. SportsVisions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
In the new apartment, couture from the store's departments. You more like love.
This is the SportsVisions morning show.
Let's do this.
SportsVisions 92.1.
Have you downloaded your mobile driver's license yet? If no, why not? The Georgia Digital Driver's License and ID is available in your Apple, Google, and Samsung wallet. It's free, secure, and easy to use. Download it today to skip the line when you visit a DDS center. To learn more about Georgia's digital license and ID, visit dds.georgia.gov. That's dds.georgia.gov. Message from the Georgia Department of Driver Services.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander Shahara trial attorneys. Paid active dramatization. Past results and not guaranteed future results in each case.
Me and Top Dog's walking through the airport. They're trying to speed the line up. So you know how they bring out the dogs to sniff people while they walk past? Well, that's what happened. But the dog must have known that Top Dog was a real dog too. Because when he sniffed him, he bit him. Want to know what Top Dog did? He started barking. Everybody was running over, screaming, "That's a real accident. You better call Top Dog. Top Dog Law." Top Dog still barking, letting everybody know he about to get top dollar. He letting everybody know. Seriously though, if you ever get into an accident, you want money, right? You want top dollar, right? You get into an accident, you call the dog. Top Dog Law.
This hour of the SportsVisions morning show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it to keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you can get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
You're waking up with a Sports Visions morning show on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Sports Visions morning show. Happy hump day. DJ Jones, Thrift Behringer. Thrift, man, we've had another wang dang doodle.
Unbelievable show. Unbelievable guests. That's what we do, man. We even added some guests, too, like Tyler Evan this morning.
Absolutely, man. I'll tell you what, big shout out to Coach Smitty Grider, of course. I got some good feelings about him. And, at the end of the day, it takes a great coach, but also, you got to have good players. But I can just tell, basically on the way he talked about it, the offense that he's going to run. Actually, people are probably going to want to play for him. He mentioned it, kids today, they want to run and catch and they want to throw. They don't want to be just blockers and they don't want to just run the ball. They want to be able to show their skills. So I can see an influx of skill guys, more importantly, wide receivers and quarterbacks. The destination for those guys and their development could possibly be the Pacelli Vikings.
Yeah, it could be. And this is a place that is, have you seen?
Yep.
They got a lot of state championships here in the last 3 years in the GIAA. Football, multiple basketball, volleyball, flag football. The only one they don't have is baseball. They've gotten it in soccer. They've gotten it in almost everything, DJ, and that is credit to the staff over there and all the athletes.
Another thing that jumped out with me with Coach Grider is that he made mention of the basketball coach, is of course, the athletic director, Kelvin Thomas and Brian Thomas, but more importantly, Kelvin. And understanding that, because again, everybody's got their little hangups. They want to protect, they want their athletes to be their athletes, but might not necessarily be the best thing for the kid and his future and his development. Hello, most of the times if you come from where I come from, you play everything. And again, no coach can say, I don't want my kid, my star point guard. I don't want my forward, my power forward, my small. I don't know. And let them play everything. And as we've heard a lot of very successful coaches over the years, to the tune of course, you name it. Every coach we talked to, they said, hey, look, guys that play multiple sports are the most valued. They are the most sought after. And so in this day and age, if you're selfish, if you're one of those guys that say, you're just going to play basketball, you're just going to play football, or you're just going to play baseball, man, you're out of your mind.
Exactly right. And why would you want your player to do that and not be in multiple things, staying out of trouble, whatever it may be?
Yeah.
You got to let the kid take care of himself, and being on multiple teams, I just don't understand how that doesn't help athletes.
Well, according to, again, what we just heard from Coach Grider is that
that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they're doing that at Pacelli, and they're going to share those athletes, and they're going to put the athlete first and let him do what he needs to do, and they're going to give him the best opportunity to be successful.
Yeah.
So good to hear from him. And Mark Clark, man, what can we say about the legend? Mark Clark, 52 years writing. He started when he was 15 years old. 15 years old now. He said he wrote about a page long. By the time they went back and edited it, was about 2 inches long. So he had to read other people's writing. I hadn't heard that in a long time. Read other successful people that are writing and doing what you do. Watch them. Study those announcers. If you're a broadcaster, if you're a television guy, look at who are the guys that are doing what you want to do. Who are the athletes? Who are the people in the business, in the community that are doing what you want? Look at the lawyers. Look at the doctors. Look at the electricians, the plumbers. If that's what you want to do, check them out.
Yeah, you got to learn from people, DJ. You got to go out and get experience from it. You can't just read a book. Sometimes you got to be around people that know the trades and the ins and outs, because in the end, you got to learn your own style, but it's always a lot easier when you can learn from someone else.
Absolutely. And big shout out for Mark Clark, and we appreciated him today.
Mark.
Kelly Ellison, man, I tell you what, again, we have talked about this young lady for the last couple of days, and man, it will just be an icing on the top, a little cherry on top of that icing, if she can go down and she and her Lady Hawks, Hardaway girls. You know what? I get into this girl, lady. I mean, high school is girls. We know that. But the Lady Hawks fits on best on the mascot.
Yeah.
So anyway, Lady Hawks,
yeah.
They got to, you know what? If they win that championship, especially after last year getting so close.
Unreal, man.
So close, man. And then it could happen to a better person. And she, and of course, and then her sister and her mom are going to be right there, and her daughter going to be right there in making, man, they win it all. Just like kind of reminds me of Coach Thomas with his wife and his kid right there on the bench. That championship experience is nothing like it.
Exactly right. And to see that they came up short last year and they came more motivated than ever. It'd be great for Hardaway, the entire fan base, Kendall Mills, everyone over there that has put a lot of time and effort, but specifically Kelly Ellison and her girls, man. They deserve it more than anyone, and we hope they're able to cut down the nets tomorrow at 1 p.m.
And it doesn't hurt to go to the speed dial and be able to call on people like Sam Crenshaw. I mean, a guy that is, vested in this business. I mean, he's invested in more ways than one.
Wow.
But he's been, he's at the top of the chart in our business now. He's, he's in Atlanta and he's doing multiple things with different sports and different universities and different outlets. He is where obviously you will want to be if you are chasing a dream in broadcasting. But Sam Crenshaw, our guy, he's going to be on the call for the 1 o'clock game between Murray County as well as Hardaway. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen a pro do it, Thrift, you know what, again, you put me in mind of him. I mean, you guys got different styles, but I mean, you are on your way to being really one of the great ones. And Sam is already there. He's that
there.
guy. He's that guy.
He's the guy I look up to. He's a pro's pro. And he does everything. He literally has a hand. He calls games. He does radio shows. He does the news. He hosts events.
Yes.
I mean, he does everything, and he doesn't turn down events, even if it doesn't mean he's making money, because he's growing. He's getting better as a broadcaster, and young people need to understand that.
Can you say versatile with a capital V?
Yeah, that capital S for Sam.
Sam, absolutely. And of course, Richard Holdridge, again, Rich is on the scene. We are proud of his development. Again, he was flying the plane there for the first segment of the show. And again, it's going to be wonderful. When he get his wings, when he graduates and officially get his wings on as far as a board operator,
come on.
You are training him up right the way. And man, I tell you, hey man, it's hump day. Happy hump day to everybody out there. You hear the music, you know what that means. That's going to do it for this edition of the Sports Visions Morning Show. On behalf of Thrift Behringer, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball.
I need you in the morning, but I need you now. Yeah. I find you, I give you all you need. I know what you like.
You've been listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Behringer. Brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. This is Sports Visions 92.1.
I need to give it all. I try to live, but I can't. I don't know why you're the one. Turn me out of my mind. You don't need no other body. You don't need no other body. Only you feel on my body. Only you feel on my body. You don't need no other.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and